Thank you so much for being here. I just wanted to say also before we get started, thank you very much for the new subscribers. I'm about to hit, I think, 70, and that is really great and really exciting as well. And I just wanted to thank everybody for showing their support, for coming to my lives, and joining the conversation about the stories that are happening in the world that we live in today. I have a playlist for us to look at today. It's going to contain about 40 clips more or less from the past couple of days. I did take yesterday off to deal with some stuff at home. I don't know who was here when I was explaining that lately I've been having to deal with somebody trying to break into my apartment. So I needed to speak with front office about getting some new locks. That's a start, but it's really not gonna like do much if I've already caught the guy in my backyard before, and if it's the same situation, he's also broken my sliding door in the past. So recently I decided to go for a walk. I did start a new diet. I'm trying to eat healthier, trying to kick sugar and caffeine from, the food that I intake. And I also decided to start going for walks. And I'm going by myself because of some phobias that I have from the last time that I took my dog for a walk. I was attacked by a pit bull. This is just a really fucked up neighborhood. I've always known it, but it's just getting crazier and crazier. The times are getting crazier and crazier. And when I went to go for my walk, I was like, screw it, it's daytime, and I don't really believe that anybody would try, because I live in an apartment complex. There's a lot of people walking around and stuff like that. So I took off, and then, I was about to leave. I turned around to lock my door, and I'm noticing there's like a chip of like wood that's missing from like right next to the doorknob. So in my head, I'm imagining somebody with maybe like a screwdriver or something trying to like pry it open. I did speak to police. They told me that if they ever attempt to do that again, that as long as I have my top locks locked, that they shouldn't be able to get in that way. But it's really not going to stop anybody from trying, through the back gate again, or through a window, things like that. So I'm having to deal with that stuff, and I think I'm probably going to take this weekend off also to prepare for some things. So I'm going to try to not make this live so long. I do have 41 clips. So if I take this weekend off, I will probably see you not until Monday. But for now, I'm good. My dogs are good. I just gave Princess a shower. She's feeling hyper and she's running around, and Scruffy is feeling like he got away with something, but he really didn't, because as soon as I'm done here, I'm gonna give him a shower too. And I spoke to Queen's Throne, who is also Crowned Empress TV, and she will be going live later, so I'm gonna put that there. So once we're done here, sometime after that, we could all head over there and continue looking at clips, and I think there's some like body cam videos that we're gonna look at later on today over at Crown Empresses. So make sure that you're subscribed to her channel. I do have some links. I have to update my my promotions that I usually, like whenever I drop the links and stuff, or her channels and things like that. I do have to update that, but I'm gonna go ahead for now and add the prior links to the chat. They should still go to the same channels. It's only the name that has changed. So while that's getting loaded up, because I forgot to do that, let's go ahead and take a look at the first clip that we're gonna look at today. Hi Danielle, how you doing? I just spoke to you a little while, so I'm sure you're good. I hope everybody's good. I hope your fur baby's good. I saw pictures of your little guy or girl. I'm not too sure. I don't think I asked. But a cute little puppy you got there. So let's go ahead and get started. The first clip, I chose it because I want to say earlier this year, National Geographic, I think, started a documentary series with one of my favorite documentarians. Her name is Mariana Van Zeller, and she started doing a show called Trafficked. And I'm trying to find out what channel this is on, so that way if anybody's interested in watching her work, you can head over there. Yeah, it's the National Geographic channel. She did a season. I'm not too sure if it's coming back. It looks like it might be on Hulu as well, and probably on demand too if you have cable. And in that series, she did an episode. Her name is Cindy. Oh, okay, so she's a little baby girl. Tell Cindy I said hello and give her extra cuddles for me, please. But continuing on about the documentary, she did an episode about scams, and that was a very interesting episode to me. Obviously, I can't show it here because YouTube won't allow it, but when I saw this news clip, it reminded me of one of the stories that she told on that episode. She also covered like trafficking tigers, fentanyl. I think she also covered like the like sex work, you know, things like that. It's very, very interesting, and I've been following her work for at least 10-15 years. She used to be a documentarian for a channel called Current, and they had a documentary series called Vanguard, if you've ever heard of it. She came from there. But this clip that I'm going to show you is related to her, kind of not related to her work, but something that she did bring up in the episode that was talking about scams. So before I get into that, let's go ahead and watch the video. It's called Stop the Calls, Robocallers Trick Grandmother Out of Life Savings. And that's going to be courtesy of CBS 8 San Diego. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if y'all just saw that, but I just hovered over the screen and there was some glitching. I don't know why that's happening. So hopefully we don't have any issues. If there is, please let me know so I could try to fix it. Yeah, there it goes again. That is so weird. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that, but let's try to watch it. Hopefully there's no issues. This is going to be courtesy of CBS 8 San Diego, and it was posted yesterday, so let's take a look. Yeah, that's weird.
We know you've gotten the calls. Scammers regularly call our cell phones trying to trick us into giving them money.
Well, most of us simply hang up on them, but every once in a while they find a victim to scam out of thousands of dollars. Tonight, News 8's Steve Price continues his series of special reports on robocalls with the story of a victim.
We also meet the owner of a robocall company who faced a multi-million-dollar fine. But will that get him to stop the calls?
For most of us, robocalls are annoying. They call and we don't answer. Then a couple hours later, they call again and we still don't answer. But the calls keep coming because sometimes they work.
This message is from the Social Security.
If you're interested in renewing your auto warranty,
they offer us deals too good to pass up or scare us into acting irrationally. Pitches so convincing we fall for them, costing victims a total of $10 billion a year. And sometimes the loss is a lot more than money.
my grandmother was targeted and pursued nonstop by a ring of fraudsters.
82-year-old Marjorie Jones scammed out of her life savings by robocallers.
We found hidden in a closet several bags full of wire receipts where she had been sending large sums of money overseas.
It was a 10-person ring in Costa Rica where they posed as different U.S. federal agencies.
The last phone call I had with her, she was extremely adamant about needing this money. It also cuts me to my core that I didn't stop everything that day and go to her.
Not just that day, I'm kind of wondering where they were overall as far as the family goes, because it sounded like this is something that had already been going on. It doesn't feel or sound like there was open communication between the grandmother and the family, you know, or her here. I don't want to, pass blame or anything like that, of course, but it should be common knowledge that the elderly do need assistance when it comes to not just physical things, but also mental things, making decisions and things like that. Just leaving somebody alone, completely alone like that is not appropriate. Although I do want to mention that I was raised by my grandparents, so I had to be there. I had to be the translator. I had to be the one to look over, mail and things like that. I already knew how to like write checks and balance checkbooks by the time I was like 11. I didn't have a choice. I don't at all promote that either. I believe that it should be a grown adult that should be able to take the time to check on the elderly members of their family. I also don't really necessarily agree with like taking them to a home either. I think people should be there for each other. But in this case, I just feel like they were absent and they didn't know about anything until it was too late. So let's keep watching this clip and see what happens.
It pains me to talk about my grandmother's horrific death because she chose to take her own life. My grandmother died with $69 in her bank account.
Good afternoon, this is Melody with the Solar Research Group.
It's Robert here with Solar Research Group.
Hello, this is Joy, Solar Research Group on a recorded line.
To see how relentless robocallers can be, you don't even have to leave Southern California.
Unfortunately, my counsel advised me talking about this.
This is Nick Long. The Federal Trade Commission says the Orange County resident and his wife ran a robocall company that called millions of numbers on the do not call list and repeatedly called consumers with the intent of annoying, abusing, or harassing them, including one number more than 1,000 times in a single year.
A call soliciting money from you to sell a good.
They really got to do something about that. That to me sounds like harassment. But then again, these companies are sometimes not even legitimate, so they can't really do anything about it because it's usually just regular people that don't care. By the way, I do notice that there is some glitching happening, so I think after this clip I'm going to go ahead and restart the browser. I won't be going anywhere, but I'm just going to restart the screen that I'm sharing. So let's go ahead and continue.
Goods or services is generally going to be illegal if you're on the do not call list, unless you give them permission in writing or you have a pre-existing business relationship.
The Longs were fined $7.6 million, but the government settled for just $264,000 and a promise from the Longs to stop making robocalls.
I just want people to know that, I've been really, really affected by this, financially, emotionally, but it's not going to stop me.
Quite often these operators pop back up under different company names, using different suppliers, different carriers, and they'll just go from one to the next to the next.
They took my grandmother's life.
Angela Stancic shares Marjorie's story to prevent others from feeling her family's pain. Her advice?
Reach out to your elderly loved ones and your grandparents more, be more involved, and get in their business. Check their mail, check their caller IDs.
In our next report, a closer look at robocalls that are taking place right now in our county.
It's possible to robocall everybody in San Diego for under $500.
And tips to help you stop the calls.
And his name's...
All right, let me go ahead and stop sharing this screen and get that out of here, and hopefully this fixes it, because every time I was hovering my mouse over the screen, it was like glitching out. I don't know if you were able to tell that, but hopefully this will not happen anymore. So let's go ahead and share this new screen. Here we go, share. Alright, so this looks better. Hi Queen's Throne, aka Crown Empress TV. Hope you're doing good. We will see you soon on your channel. I already went ahead and posted my banner. I'm really excited about you going live tonight. I can't wait. But let me go ahead and get myself situated here. I don't want to skip around too much. This is how I get confused. Alright, so we have a somewhat of an update on the Derek Chauvin trial. I wanted to go ahead and share that with you all. It's called Suspects Arrested for, oh no, it's not an update on the trial, but more in a situation that happened because of the trial. So let me start over. It's suspects arrested for bloody vandalism of Derek Chauvin defense witness, former Santa Rosa home, and this is going to be courtesy of KPIX, CBS, SF, Bay Area. So as many of you might recall, that one of the witnesses that testified said that Derek Chauvin did not, act out of any kind of he said that basically what he did was okay, and that's what cops do sometimes, and that he agreed with it and supported it. And some people ended up covering his old home with pig's blood and apparently left the head there, which is very disturbing. So there's been some arrests on that case. So let's go ahead and take a look. No, it's still glitching. I'll just try to work past it. I'm not too sure what's going on, but let me try that again.
With a gruesome vandalism case in Santa Rosa that made headlines nationwide. 3 women are accused of splashing pig's blood and leaving a pig's head at the former home of an expert witness in the Derek Chauvin trial.
Didn't that sound like something guys would do, though? I was literally picturing it was going to be guys, not women. That is just disgusting. It's disgusting either way. Oh, let me mod you up. It's disgusting either way, but wow, I mean, really, that's women doing that. Sorry, I'm trying to do 2 things at the same time, and this glitching is super distracting, but let's keep watching.
Andrea Nakano joins us now with more on what we're learning about the suspects. Andrea?
Yeah, Liz, along with vandalizing that home in Santa Rosa, investigators say the women also covered the hand statue here downtown with animals' blood. Now they're facing charges of conspiracy and felony vandalism. These are images from April 17th where pig's blood was splattered all over this home in West Santa Rosa. Today, the Santa Rosa Police Department served search warrants at 2 separate locations and made arrests.
3 individuals, various ages, Santa Rosa residents were taken into custody in the last 24 hours on this case.
The suspects are being identified as 20-year-old Rowan Dalby, 34-year-old Kristen Amoyth, and 35-year-old Amber Lucas. Lucas is a wine influencer in Sonoma County and has an Instagram account under the name Amused Blog.
When it came time for you to speak up about Black lives, where the were you?
I was right here, and we were speaking out about it. You're not the only one.
Lucas not only posts about the wine and hospitality industry, but is also vocal about social justice issues. In this vandalism case, though, police say the women targeted innocent victims.
Completely misdirected. It was in connection with what we believe was Barry Broad's testimony. He used to be a resident here in Santa Rosa and used to live at that particular residence.
I felt that Derek Chauvin was justified and was acting with...
Hi Black and Bougie, I'm so glad you're here. I am going to be on live for a little bit. I have something like 40 clips to watch, but also Queen's Throne, aka Crown Empress TV, will be going live tonight as well. So if you don't get to jump on the live here, you guys, of course, are welcome to join us at Queen's Throne's live later on today.
Objective reasonableness.
Broad, a former Santa Rosa police officer, testified in defense of Derek Chauvin, the former officer convicted in the murder of George Floyd. Police say Broad hasn't worked for the department since 2004 and no longer lives in California.
Andrea, are more arrests possible in this case?
Well, as Lieutenant Cooker tells me that this is an ongoing investigation and more arrests are possible. They are just following leads and trying to collect more evidence.
All right, Andrea, thank you.
Go next, Cameron.
All right, so that was that clip. Let's go ahead and continue on. I just hope this crazy glitching doesn't, get worse. All right, so this next one is an update on the Amari Nicholson case, and for those of you that aren't familiar, he's a little boy that went missing in Las Vegas last week. There was, you know, implications being made that the mother was involved in the situation. I'm not too sure about that anymore, to be honest, but I'll tell you why later. And it turns out that her boyfriend murdered the little boy because he soiled his pants, and the man decided to punch him. I want to say I heard 4 times. There's a lot of stuff going on with this case, but one thing is that she was pregnant by one man, and then she hooked up with another guy. I guess it didn't work out with the natural father of Amari, and then he kind of took on the parental role, and you know, when Amari was born, and then they broke up, and then she had a new boyfriend, and it's the new boyfriend that unfortunately murdered the little boy. So this interview that we're gonna watch is gonna be the boyfriend that was there when Amari was born, that took on the father role while with the time that he was allowed to have with them. This clip is called "Former Boyfriend of Mother Remembers Amari Nicholson, quote like a son at vigil," and this is gonna be courtesy of Fox 5 Las Vegas. And it looks like there's an ad here, so just give me one chance to skip it or to get past it. I hope everyone's doing really good. Let's go ahead and start. Come on, stupid ad.
And his name's Jacquees Knowles, and he was dating Taylor Nicholson when she gave birth to Amari. Knowles said he stepped in because Amari needed a father. Knowles and Taylor broke up last year, but he's continued to love Amari like his own.
October 26th, man, it changed my life.
Jacquees Knowles held Amari Nicholson the day he was born.
I thought, you know, from having a child, you know, things would be difficult. You know, that's another life, a human being you have to take care of. And when I got him, things just so easy, just so, like, magical.
Knowles isn't Amari's biological father, but was with his mother, Taylor Nicholson, from day one of Amari's life.
He was just a calm, sweet baby, man. Like, he was never difficult. Never. I already knew he was into sports because that was our, you know, the pictures I have, you know, that's mostly why we would sleep together on the couch, watching ESPN News.
Knowles said he and Taylor broke up over the summer, and the last time he saw Amari was November of last year. News of his murder knocked him off the floor.
My neighbor had to come pick me up off the floor because I'm hysterical, you know, I don't want to leave the house, you know. I don't know what to do, like, I'm beyond hurt. I don't know where to place this anger.
Knowles said after the vigil, he'll go home and cherish the memories he had with Amari, who he calls his son.
You know, I'm just being level-headed right now for this, and this situation is a scene. Oh, but when I go back home, I'm going to ball up in my cover, and I'm going to look at our pictures. I'm going to hold his favorite teddy bear. You know, his favorite Mickey Mouse teddy bear. I'm going to hold the blanket that we got made for Christmas. Mickey Mouse was his favorite character. I just want to be here and be in peace, you know, pay respects to my son and just be as peaceful as possible, man.
That's really sad. I'm not interjecting too much because of this glitching issue that I'm having. But then in that case, it sounds like the new boyfriend wasn't involved for too long. If they broke up last summer, let's say July, August, and then he says that the last time he saw Amari was in November, I'm going to assume that that was around the time the new boyfriend, you know, came into the picture. So then it's probably been like, what, 6-7 months before things got really bad. That's really sad. Hi, Emmanuel Briggs. How you doing? Thank you so much for being here. All right, let's go ahead and take a look. Oh no, I just took out the wrong clip. I don't know what that was. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get it back. But let's continue. The next clip we're gonna look at is called "Search for Model Who Vanished," and that's gonna be courtesy of Fox Carolina News.
Discover La Roche-Posay and...
After this ad, and this was posted on May 12th, which is a couple of days ago. So let me just go ahead and back this up. I'm just going to ignore the glitching. Screw it. There's nothing I could do about it.
Kendra, thanks. Only on Fox tonight, a woman vanished. That's what Ted Smith's family says it feels like happened to the 22-year-old. Greenville police continue to search for her at this hour after she was last seen at the end of April. The family approaching us about the missing woman and we've been working alongside police to get answers today.
Yeah, we reached out to them, and we've learned a few things tonight. Fox Carolina Michelle Ramin live for us. And Michelle, the one major thing we don't know is, where is Tess tonight?
Yeah, that's a big question weighing on her entire family's heart, Cody, as you very well know. I met her cousin here at GPD earlier today, and she says she's using every social media platform possible, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, to share this photo. They want as many shares as possible, including the Greenville police, to try and see if anyone has spotted Tess. Not only that, her cousin was trying to look into those platforms to see if there was any activity on Tess's end, but so far, no luck tonight.
She wants to be a model. Like, she has been telling me and my family that for years, and she has been doing it. She's been doing photo shoots.
Ted Smith's family says she's comfortable being in front of a lens with her photos on full display.
I mean, she's just very outgoing and just beautiful. I mean, genuinely beautiful.
Tess's picture is being shared all across Greenville and the United States, but not in the original way her family ever pictured.
I mean, honestly, I just don't think she's okay, honestly, because like I said, anytime I reach out to her, she's 5 seconds. Hey, cousin, what are you doing? Where are you at? You know, like, and the fact that you're not responding, I'm calling Instagram, I'm calling Facebook, I'm calling Snapchat.
Tess's cousin spoke to me saying no one has heard from Tess since April 27th. No activity on social media, no appearances at photo shoots. And when they try and call, they're met with that haunting noise.
What does everybody think would cause that? Because normally when you call a cell phone, I'm assuming it's a cell phone number. I don't think that's going to be like a landline. If it's a landline, then obviously the phone is off the hook. But in a cell phone situation, why would it be busy? Doesn't it normally like kick you over to like voicemail? Or because usually also if the voicemail box was full, then you would get a message saying so. So I'm kind of wondering why her phone would be busy whenever whenever people are trying to call her.
I don't know if someone she met in that industry has taken her. I don't know. Sex trafficking is real.
Right now, Greenville police confirmed they're actively searching. Meantime, with family chasing down every tip.
Something is wrong somewhere.
Rogers says Tess found the light not only in pictures, but in life. And now they're fighting through her presence going dark.
I'm lost. I just hope that you're okay, and just please contact us. Please, like, we're here no matter what.
We're told there's a possibility that Tess could be in Georgia tonight, but so far no confirmation on that and no specific sightings either. If you have any information as far as where Tess is tonight, you need to call Greenville Police immediately. For now, reporting live in Greenville tonight, I'm Michelle Ramin, Fox Carolina, the 11 o'clock news.
You see what it does when I hover the arrow over the screen? It just starts glitching out. Well, I really hope they find her and get some answers. I don't feel like she's okay either. Obviously, that's not a good sign for her to just go missing. She has family in her life that sounds like they keep in touch with her and she talks to them. And then all of a sudden she disappears. She's a model. Sex trafficking was brought up as a possibility, and that's very real world. That something like that could be happening. And it's just really alarming and really sad, and I hope that she turns up okay somehow, some kind of miracle. Let's go ahead and continue. This next clip we're about to watch is out of Florida, and it's called Local Protesters React to Lawsuit Against Florida's Anti-Riot Bill, and this is going to be courtesy of First Coast News. After this ad, and this video was posted May 12th.
And protesters are responding after state and local leaders were slapped with a lawsuit following the recent signing of Florida's controversial so-called anti-riot law. All Your Side's Haley Harrison is live tonight outside the Duval County Courthouse with why civil rights groups are trying to strike it down. Haley.
Anthony, since the death of George Floyd, there have been dozens of protests right here at these steps. However, activists are concerned that this new law is instilling fear, and therefore, they're pushing back. The anti-riot law gives police wide latitude to make mass arrests at protests, requires suspects to stay in jail without bond, and even shields drivers who hit protesters.
We weren't doing anything wrong. We were exercising our rights. You know, it was all good-hearted.
Deanna Baldacci says she was one of those arrested during the Jacksonville protest last May.
something went miscue when they started arresting people.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis talked about why he proposed and signed the bill during a Newsmax town hall Wednesday.
When we had the protests last summer, I called out the National Guard, saying we're not having riots, we're not going to do that. But I also understood you can't just be on defense, you got to go on offense. So we passed the strongest anti-rioting, pro-police bill in the country this year.
DeSantis is among several defendants, like Jacksonville Sheriff Mike Williams, who the Northside Coalition and other civil rights groups filed the lawsuit against Tuesday.
So what they want to do is put fear so that people don't come out.
Local activist groups like Florida Rising say the anti-riot law has already affected protest activity among black organizations.
That sounds unconstitutional to me, because people have a right to protest peacefully without the police coming in and arresting people and keeping them, you know, from speaking their voice about what's going on. Go ahead and play.
Organizers in the state.
And there's no doubt about it to me that that legislation came very clearly as an attack on, you know, the Black Lives Matter movement and how that was showing up in Jacksonville.
You can read the full lawsuit and learn more about the anti-riot law on our website. Live in downtown, I'm Haley Harrison, First Coast News, on your side.
Yeah, I definitely want to look more into that, because that just doesn't seem like that should have been allowed at all. But let's go ahead and continue. This next clip we're going to watch is called Unsolved, the 2017 triple murder of a young couple and their baby girl. And this is a really sad story. I went ahead and watched it ahead of time. This is going to be courtesy of First Coast News, and this was posted May 12th. Let's go ahead and take a look.
It was a crime that shocked the Jacksonville community. A young couple and their baby girl killed. With such a terrible triple murder, family expected arrests to happen quickly, but now, more than 3 years later, Katie Jeffries reports the crime remains unsolved.
December used to be a time of Christmas celebrations and family memories, but now the cold winter air brings with it memories of a terrible night.
I remember just people crying and just kind of not understanding, like, is this for real?
It was December 12, 2017. Around 10:30 that night, Jacksonville Fire Rescue were called out to a house fire on India Avenue in Arlington. Inside the home, a Christmas tree was burning. But then the horrible discovery of the bodies of Quayshawn Trotter and his fiancée, Ariane Johnson, and their daughter, Ariel.
I just want people to understand and just to keep in mind that it was a baby involved into this. It was an 11-month-old child that was involved into this.
Family says the three lived in an apartment in Jacksonville, but that night they were staying at a friend's house on India Avenue. The Jacksonville Sheriff's Office has released very few details about this case, only saying in 2017 that they were working this case as a triple homicide and there was no forced entry into the home. They did not comment for this story, other than to say it was still considered an active investigation. According to the family, Quayshawn and Ariane had been shot and killed. Then the Christmas tree was set on fire, presumably to cover evidence in the murders. Family says it was smoke inhalation that took baby Ariel's life.
They say, oh, well, they didn't, you know, physically hurt her with a gun. They still caused harm to her because they knew she was there.
It is a level of cruelty that Natasha and Yase struggle to understand.
How could you do something like that to an 11-month-old baby who had no idea, who does not know what's going on, who could not have said anything about you, who basically, you know, don't know? Why would you do that?
Ariel was the light of her parents' lives. Born in January of 2017, Quayshawn and Ariane were both excited to become parents to the little girl. Natasha says Quayshawn was devoted to his family and smart. Yase says Ariane was just about to open her own clothing store, and both were devoted to their baby girl. They believe the public knows more than what they told investigators, and hope now may finally be the time that someone comes forward.
It's not going to bring them back, but at least the ones who did it will be held accountable and not be able to hurt anybody else.
Both mothers continue to grieve the loss of their children, but what haunts them the most is the murder of Ariel. How could someone kill a baby and get away with it?
A baby's involved. what's going to be done now? How can we find some kind of justice for her?
If you know anything about this triple homicide, please contact the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office or Crime Stoppers. Katie Jeffries, First Coast News, on your side.
Hopefully someone will come forward with information. And for more cold cases and a look at the cold case database, visit projectcoldcase.org.
I will definitely do that. I am interested in cold cases. I really do hope to get an answer as to what happened to that family, because that's very disturbing that they shot both the parents, lit the Christmas tree on fire. That seems pointed to me. That to me represents like family togetherness. Like maybe somebody had something against the whole family and they were just like, fuck your Christmas tree, and lit it on fire and allowed the baby to pass away from smoke inhalation. It was very disturbing. Let's go ahead and continue. This next clip that we're going to watch is called, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, Moab uranium tailing cleanup still going after 13 years. This is going to be courtesy of Fox 13 News Utah.
A massive radioactive tailings pile right next to the Colorado River is being cleaned up by crews in Moab.
Fox 13 News is partnering with the Water Desk at the University of Colorado Boulder to look in depth at where the project stands right now.
Max Roth shows us what this means for the tens of millions of people downstream.
The mill construction started in 1956, a place to process one of the most dangerous elements on Earth. Uranium for America's nuclear arsenal, the site right next to the Southwest's most important waterway, the Colorado River.
When they established the mill, there wasn't very much thought given to protecting the river.
The river that provides water to tens of millions of people and millions of acres of crops downstream. The process left behind waste products and tailings. That's a radioactive sand-like material that was 80 feet thick by 1998 when the mill owner went bankrupt. That left the federal government responsible for the toxic mess.
So we're trying to protect basically the downstream constituents from this water flooding onto the tailings and moving it downstream.
The process, digging up the tailings, hauling them in steel containers, and disposing of them at a site far from waterways about a mile north of I-70 near Crescent Junction. They're capping it with 9 feet of native soil and rock. On Google Earth time-lapse in 2008, this is the desert near Crescent Junction, transformed by 2020 into a new landfill.
It's a perfect area for a disposal cell. If you were to pick one in the United States, it's very arid out there, very limited rain, very limited vegetation.
For now, the mill site has groundwater wells to remove the uranium, ammonia, and other contaminants before they reach the river.
Fox 13's Max Roth reporting there. More than a decade of cleanup has cost $600 million, and they expect to keep working into the 2030s. They say the final bill will be about $1 billion.
Wow, we definitely need to take care of the planet that we live on better than that. That's really disturbing that we're cleaning up uranium in this country. I didn't know about that. I had heard of like Fukushima and Chernobyl, but I had no idea that this was going on in Utah. So it's interesting to hear about. Let's go ahead and continue looking at the playlist that we're looking at today. The next one is called Community Crime Watch, Missing Teen, Murder Suspect Wanted, and this is courtesy of 11 Alive.
We are committed to keeping you and your family safe. Here's Community Crime Watch. We're going to begin tonight in Clayton County, where there is a missing teenager that needs to be brought to a safe place. Kayla Sims was last seen in Jonesboro. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children say she is considered an at-risk teenager. Many of these young people are targeted by human traffickers. If you know where Kayla Sims is, call police. Help get her to a safe place. Atlanta police need your help in tracking down one of their most wanted. Andre Thomas is accused of a brutal murder. It happened in February at 3263 Donald Lee Hollowell Parkway in Atlanta. Now the fugitive team is asking for your help to get him off the streets. Contact Crime Stoppers. There could be a cash reward waiting for you.
Alright, so that skipped ahead, but there was a couple of grandmas that we're going to look at today. So it's going to be kind of like a good grandma and then a bad grandma. So we're going to start with the good one. This next clip is called Grandson and Grandma Graduate from College Together. And this is courtesy of WBNS 10 TV. Let's go ahead and make this big, and then I will do the reading on here. Actually, let me go ahead and lower this. Okay, so it says Keith Taylor and his grandmother Rose Cedar Bird graduated from Indiana University together recently. So that's them walking.
Not a lot of people can say that they graduated with their relative, let alone the grandmother, and I think it's just a really cool thing to be able to say.
Says Keith got his bachelor's in biological sciences and Rose Cedar got her master's in social work. Hi, Raphael.
I went to him and said, "Oh, can you help your Nana a little bit in this math area?"
Says Rose Cedar is the first in her family to get a master's degree. Says the two will have separate celebrations before throwing a joint party for the family to celebrate. So that's a really good point, Emmanuel. They are at risk. No teenager should be just out running around doing... Oh my god, I think I just erased another... I don't know what's going on here. It looks like my playlist is like moving around. Alright, so let's find the bad grandma that I was going to cover. No, she's out here somewhere. Here she is. Oh wait, no, this isn't it. Let's keep going. Maybe we'll cover the bad grandma afterwards, because I'm not finding her. Who knows? Maybe that's the one that I just erased. I already erased like 2 videos due to this crazy glitching. Alright, so let's just go ahead and scrap that, and we'll just continue on trying to play these videos. The next one is called Those Thoughts Never Go Away. Former K-9 handler reflects on previous searches of missing children, and that's going to be courtesy of First Coast News, and this was posted 2 days ago. Let's take a look.
So as we have reported over the years, the search for missing children can end with heartbreaking results, affecting not only the families, but also the first responders. One former Jacksonville Sheriff's K-9 handler spoke with On Your Side's Robert Bradfield about the personal losses he's experienced.
The disappearance and discovery of Tristan Bailey brings back unfortunate and unforgettable memories for Charlie Wilkie.
Those thoughts never go away.
The former Jacksonville Sheriff's K-9 handler found the body of 8-year-old Cherish Periwinkle. She was kidnapped and murdered in 2013. 2 years later, 21-month-old Lonzie Barton's body was found in Jacksonville's South Side after he was reported missing.
There's always going to be a reminder. You know, there's always going to be the anniversary of when you located them.
He received grief counseling and expects the same for those involved in Bailey's search. Wilkie says detectives will go through social media accounts to determine a possible motive, but the investigation won't stop there.
That's what we naturally assume that when we first hear of a young teenager, especially a female going missing. Sometimes we naturally assume that they've been on some kind of chat line or something.
Dive teams were seen at this pond in Durbin Crossing where Bailey's body was found nearby, and Wilkie says their search was deliberate and detailed.
I've seen how they just quadrant off the pond, and they're literally arm in arm just about doing a grid search, if you will.
Wilkie has seen the tragic side of these outcomes and, like many, has questions about what happened.
Big question is for everybody, why? You know, you just can't understand why.
Robert Bradfield, First Coast News.
Okay, so I went ahead and put the links to Queen's live channels. Those aren't the new names. I do still have to update that. I just went ahead and put the ones that I have right now saved, but I will fix that for the live that's happening later tonight. So let's go ahead and continue, and this next clip that we're going to watch is called Critical Motions Hearing Held Ahead of Joseph Daniels Trial, and that's going to be courtesy of NewsChannel 5. Let's take a look.
Last month we marked 3 years since the disappearance of Joe Clyde Daniels. The 5-year-old vanished from his Dixon County home and is presumed dead. Accused of killing Joe Clyde, his own father, Joseph Daniels. We're weeks away now from his murder trial, but a slew of motions have to be heard first. News Channel 5's Kelsey Gibbs breaks down what the judge has to decide.
The first threshold that we have to cross is whether or not the defendant's statements were voluntary.
Joseph Daniels arrived in court today handcuffed and ready to hear if his confession to police will be heard in front of a jury. That confession that he killed his son, Joe Clyde.
He would testify as to how he is manipulated and tricked into making essentially an involuntary false confession.
Daniels later recanted. His attorney, Jake Lockhart, says his client was coerced, and he has witnesses who will testify to the claim.
This confession and the corroboration of his confession is the proof of guilt. It's inseparable. And even today in the motion to reconsider has not addressed that.
Along with the confession, the judge will decide whether or not the state can cross-examine a psychologist for the defense to discuss Daniels' mental health, and whether information in police interviews with a neighbor can be shown to the jury. The defense argues police knew a vehicle left the neighbor's home when Joe Clyde went missing.
Right after he moves in, this child ends up missing.
The judge is expected to make a ruling on these motions this week. Joseph Daniels' trial is still slated for June 1st. Kelsey Gibbs, News Channel 5.
Thank you, Kelsey. And the trial for Joe Clyde's mother, Crystal, who's charged with aggravated child neglect, will be set at a later date. Now, from the first report that Joe Clyde was missing to the shocking arrest of his parents, we have been there every step of the way. If you want to see a timeline of events leading up to the trial on our website and watch past reports on our streaming channel.
That's disturbing. So even his mother was involved. I'm just going to erase this real quick because I think that's what's distracting me. So it sounds like even his mom was involved in that situation. That is something that I'm going to look more into because I do want to know more about that. I'm not too sure if his trial is being televised, but if I could find more news clips, then maybe I'll put them together and present them to you at a later date. So this next clip that we're going to watch now is called CBS 4 Crew Attacked on South Beach While Working Story About Efforts to Cut Down on Violence There. And that's going to be courtesy of CBS Miami, and this was posted 2 days ago. Let's take a look.
Kurt, y'all. Grabbing me on. No, you. Hey, Kurt. I don't know. All right, then don't touch me. Can you get the camera off of us? Can you get the camera off of us?
Breaking news at 11, a CBS 4 News crew attacked. They were gathering information on a story in Miami Beach, but what happened next took a dangerous turn, and it was caught on our camera. Our crew was doing a story about efforts to cut down on the crime and chaos on South Beach when they witnessed a fight.
And as CBS 4's Bobette Yates and her photographer were gathering details on the story, they encountered more than they expected. She joins us live right now from Miami Beach with what happened. And first of all, Bobette, are you and Ebenezer, our photographer, okay?
Yes, Elliot, we're actually doing fine. It's just really shaken up, to be honest. I've been reporting for a very long time. I don't want to date myself, but about 20 years, and I've never been attacked like this on a story. The ironic part about it, as you mentioned, is that we were actually covering crime on South Beach, and normally we'd walk up and down the strip trying to interact with people, getting interviews, but in this instance, they came to us.
You a snitch! Come on.
This chick is tripping balls. Look at this. Let's see that again.
In this instance, they came to us.
You a snitch! Come on.
Yeah, she sounds like a dude. Not that there's anything wrong with sounding like a dude, but that she's aggressive as hell. She needs to take a chill pill. They're supposed to be out there having fun. This is what, Miami? Like, look at all the string lights, and people like are supposed to be out there having a good time, and they're just out here being aggressive as hell, ruining people's nights. That's not acceptable.
Before 9 p.m., my cameraman and I were attacked. The incident occurred after we captured a portion of a fight between two groups. Then their attention turned to us.
Bro, watch out with this camera, bro, for our break. Bro.
Ironically, we were in the process of covering a story about unruly behavior on the beach.
Their parents must be real proud of them.
Entertainment-only district has given us something we just can't control.
Wednesday, Miami Beach commissioners voted 4-3 to move up.
Oh, that was a Bloody Mary. That looked really good, just saying.
The last call for alcohol from 5 a.m. to 2. as part of the effort to decrease crime and unruly behavior.
I think 75% of all crime in our city is south of Dade Boulevard. And if you then look closer than that, you'll see that the top 5 locations tend to be in literally the middle of this area, from 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th on Collins and on Ocean.
The change will create a 2 a.m. last call for restaurants, bars, and clubs south of 16th Street on Collins Avenue and Ocean Drive, starting May 22nd and running to December 8th. But critics of the bill says it targets some restaurants and not others, especially since it does not include Washington Avenue.
It just doesn't make sense because the Mango certainly is not responsible for the crime in the streets. And last year we were closed for 14 months, but others were closed for 8 months, and crime soared in the street.
And David Wallach, the owner of Mango's, says the effort will damage business and force many locations on the beach to shut down. And he plans to take it to court.
It just doesn't make sense to blame then the clubs, where it's $15 or $20 for a drink for what's going on in the streets. And it just makes more sense for me to think that it's a developer's scheme.
And our attack happened well before 2 a.m.
I'm just asking you respectfully. Don't touch me. Okay, I'm just asking you respectfully. Right now, I'm not trying to gang on. I asked you respectfully, can they get the camera off of us? Kurt, y'all. I don't know you. Hey, Kurt. I don't know you. All right, then, don't.
This is exactly the kind of situation I would run away from. You would just see me, like, turn around and just run away. I would not stick around to see this in real life.
Touch me. Okay, can you get the camera off of us? Can you get the camera off of us?
Stop! You can't! Again, that attack happened just around 9 o'clock, again, well before 2 a.m. Now, we're told that the 2 of the people involved in that incident has been arrested. They've been charged with criminal mischief and battery. They're still looking for the other ones involved. And we're also told that, again, Wallach plans to fight the actual 2 a.m. new set back time for the drinking. He's going to take that to court. Live in Miami Beach, Bobeth Yates, CBS 4 News tonight.
I don't know, whenever I go to the beach, everybody is there to have a good time. Where I live, that's probably the only place there is to go, or the closest place that there is to go as well, to just relax, you know, and have drinks and whatever else you're into. People are all there with one thing in mind, and that's to have fun. I've lived here for almost 20 years. I've been going to the beach for a long time. I think I've had a bad time maybe once, and I've been there so many times. Like, it just sucks to see that there are some places where people go to have fun and they still come out fighting. They're aggressive, getting in each other's faces. Like, for what? You know, if everybody could just agree to be there for fun and keep it safe. You don't need to be getting pissed off at each other. That's crazy. That one chick was out of this world. Like, you could tell that's not what her voice sounds like. Like, she literally tried to emasculate her voice to be more intimidating. Like, nobody needs that. Queen's Throne is laughing. I'm just saying, that was wild as fuck.
And Bobeth, glad to hear that both you and Ebenezer are okay right now. But did these people actually hit you or Ebenezer?
Yeah, they got hit.
Yes, both. The first hit came when we tried to kind of block the camera, and I kind of stood in between everything because they started really coming onto Ebenezer and attacking him. And at one point, maybe 4 or 5 people surrounded him. At that point, I kind of got involved and tried to push them back. They kind of hit me, then went over my head and to attack Ebenezer and the camera.
Well, Beth, real quick, I mean, that's expensive. That's expensive equipment. Go ahead.
Yes, they also threw a bottle of liquid, what I believe is some sort of alcohol, because it was literally burning our skin,
oh my God.
My eyes.
Not only that, they're throwing alcohol. They could have taken a drink first. That means it has their DNA in it. Who knows what kind of diseases and infections and shit could be going on, and they're just flinging it around like it ain't no thing. And then observing stuff said something funny. Oh yeah, what the fuck is wrong with their parents? No kidding. Who raised these people? Her name is Bobeth. Damn it.
At some point in that whole process. Yes, and the camera is very expensive. Yeah. We're told that it has some damage. I don't know to the extent of the damage, but of course our engineers will look at that tomorrow and see exactly what damage it is.
Okay, we are glad.
In that case, then, I mean, it's really sad that, I mean, like, where were the cops, right? The one time it would have been okay, not okay for police brutality is never okay, but it would have been more reasonable and acceptable to calm everybody the fuck down with a little bit of aggression. Where the fuck were the cops? I'm telling you, whenever you need them, they're not around. Let me see. Emmanuel Prick says the reporter is fine though. Yeah, I'm glad she's okay. The reporters are usually attractive. I noticed that a lot, that we usually mention that. I don't mind. I think it's funny. Alright, let's go ahead and continue. Oh yeah, what I was going to say as well, in that case, if there was property damage, then I think that the news station would be well within their rights to sue all those crazy people that act like they don't know how to behave in public, which is pretty crazy. Alright, let's go ahead and continue. This next one is called Family of Erica Gibson outraged by social media video they say shows girl who accidentally killed her, and it's going to be courtesy of CBS Chicago, and that's going to be after this ad. Burberry, get out of here. I can't even afford you right now. Alright.
I'm Jermont Terry. New developments coming from the Cook County State's Attorney's Office tonight. The deadly shooting of a 12-year-old by another teen is not closed, and the victim's family insisting there's something investigators need to see before they look any further. It's alarming video of the teen suspected of pulling the trigger. Erica Gibson's parents won't get to plan her 13th birthday next month.
We gotta bury her. That's the hardest part. We gotta bury her.
And now the family is outraged to see this video.
This little girl didn't just all of a sudden picked up a gun. She been doing it for months.
Gibson's family is raising flags about the 14-year-old who pulled the trigger, accidentally shooting the 12-year-old in Hazel Crest.
Pulling the trigger, shooting somebody in the head is not an accident.
They say this video shows the same 14-year-old who shot Gibson, but this time the teen poses with a long gun. Video posted on TikTok months earlier.
Like she posing with a teddy bear in her hand, like it ain't nothing, with her finger sticking out. That shows a different personality to what they trying to portray.
Hazel Crest police say the teen will not face charges.
You're not going to press charges against her? Okay, so who are you going to press charges against?
The parents, because obviously now there's evidence that this child, she's a child, has access to weapons. Who made it that easy for her to access a gun to be taking photographs with? And you know that's not the first and only time that happened. And now we're talking about a situation where why does she have a gun in her hand and her friend was in her presence, and then she quote unquote accidentally shot her? Somebody needs to be held responsible for that happening. If they want to say that it was accidental, which my gut instincts say maybe accidental, but it didn't have to happen that way. Somebody should have to pay the consequences for somebody losing their life because people were being irresponsible and careless about a dangerous weapon in the home and children being around and having access to those weapons.
Aunts are demanding the Cook County State's Attorney see this video to fully understand guns were accessible more than once in that South Suburban house where their niece was visiting.
If we would have seen that video in January, maybe we wouldn't be burying my niece.
The state's attorney tells CBS 2 it has not closed the investigation. As for the adults in that house,
they're not saying anything to the police. Who owns the guns? They're not saying anything. But I feel that the police can make them talk.
No, I tried reaching out to that teen's family with no luck. We should point out, it's not clear if the weapon you saw in that TikTok video is the same gun used to kill Gibson, but Gibson's family insisting Either way, it proves that guns were accessible in that house, and the owner of those weapons need to be held responsible. Reporting live tonight, Jermont Perry, CBS 2 News.
Okay, sir, thank you very much for that report. Let's go ahead and continue on. Now, this was really annoying to me. Tell me what you all think. So this is called Alcohol to Go becomes a permanent law in Texas, and this is courtesy of KVUE. And this is and this was posted on May 12th as well.
I'm about to sign it to make it so.
Real proud.
That's the governor today. A big victory for Texas restaurants after Governor Abbott signed a bill to make alcohol to go permanent in the state of Texas. The governor waived existing laws last year to make alcohol to go possible during the pandemic so businesses could sell more and stay afloat during the pandemic. People in the service industry told KVUE's Mike Maroot the new law could change the game.
It's always 5 o'clock somewhere. But if you don't have time to hit a bar or restaurant,
that looked weird. If I'm drinking, I'm not gonna want to be like bicycling downtown. That was crazy. Hi, Terrence Bain. Thank you so much for being here and joining us. I caught a little bit of your live earlier. I didn't comment. I forgot because I was running around doing things. But I do want to catch the rest of it because your topic was very interesting to me. So I still got to watch that. Everybody make sure that you're subscribed. I'm pretty sure everyone that's here is subscribed to Terrence Bain. But if there's anybody watching, I'm going to go ahead and drop the links also to my friends that have channels. They go live or they post videos. So make sure that you're subscribed to all these channels because sometimes we get together and hang out at other places, and we of course would like for you all to join in the conversation and check out what we're all talking about. So let's go ahead and continue watching this video about this new law that got passed in Texas.
take the drink home.
Pretty remarkable that this bill was one of the very first ones to get through the entire legislative process.
Governor Abbott signed alcohol to go into law Wednesday.
Texans liked it so much, the Texas legislature wanted to make that permanent law.
Necessity breeds invention and innovation, and that's exactly what we saw.
It's such an obvious thing for the community. El Arroyo, famous for its sign and margaritas, celebrated the change.
We've learned over the COVID that to-go is in an expanded format is here to stay.
Here's how it works. A customer orders food and drink to go, pays. The restaurant, in this case El Arroyo, makes and seals the drink. On margarita, the customer picks up the order and puts it somewhere in their car where passengers can't reach it. I drive this giant utility van around, and this is my trunk. So I'm going to put the drink back here on the shelf and then get in the car to drive home.
I personally had an alcoholic beverage that was delivered to my house.
Nicole Holt runs Texans for Safe and Drug-Free Youth. She understands why the bill passed, but says it misses one crucial point: the fact that alcohol to go may make it easier for minors to get drinks.
The business decision can't be the only decision. We also have to ensure that our kids are protected. And, you know, the last thing we want to see is another kid die of impaired driving.
The law goes into effect September 1st.
Pretty cool, huh?
But restaurants can continue offering alcohol to go now because of the pandemic. In Austin, I'm Mike Maroot.
I was noticing that Queen's Throne, aka Crown Empress, said more DUIs. That's exactly what I was thinking as well. And then another thing is, I feel like Texas is just way behind the times when it comes to like cannabis laws, and there would be a lot more benefits from that. People, you know, have trouble with sleeping, with digesting food, you know, they have insomnia, things like that they're having to deal with. I myself get like sleep paralysis and stuff like that, and I just have to put up with it because Texas wants to be uptight about, you know, cannabis laws, but here we are making to-go alcohol okay, and I just don't see how that's more beneficial other than being beneficial for the restaurants and making money for them. So in the end, it's always going to be about money, and that's unfortunately what we have to deal with. Let's go ahead and look at the next clip. Well, let me erase this one before I play it again. So there was a missing woman recently, and the story is I think out of Houston. This is called Questions Remain Even After Erica Hernandez's body was found in her submerged SUV. And this is going to be courtesy of KHOU 11. So let's go ahead and take a look after this ad. You can go ahead and make that big already and play.
And tonight, the family of Erica Hernandez gathered where her SUV was pulled from a pond hours after it was confirmed the body found inside was the missing mother. Investigators believe she'd been there ever since the night she disappeared more than 3 weeks ago.
And now her family wants to know, what was she doing there so far from home? Police say the FBI got a tip that led them to the pond in Pearland, but they haven't said where that tip came from. Lauren Tallarico is in Pearland tonight and spoke with her family. Lauren.
Well, the family is still in shock and are waiting for this all to sink in. But even so, one thing they feel sure of, this wasn't an accident.
And we praise and we thank you, Lord, for the life that you have given her, Lord.
Tonight, family gathered around this Pearland pond.
We thank you for the angels that led us to her, Lord.
To pray for the life of Erica Hernandez.
Her story is not finished yet. It's like it just begun.
Her sister Ashley, who has been relentless in her search, thanks the community for their support.
We just also ask that y'all please continue to support us in the search for answers.
Investigators say there was damage to Erica's SUV, consistent with hitting a curb, then going into the water. Her family says Erica had no reason to be this far from her Sunnyside home, about 10 miles away. Pearland Police has now taken over the investigation and did not rule out foul play.
We're actually going to go and leave no stone unturned. We are going to start in the upper left and initiate this investigation and not stop until we have it completed.
We know that justice is yours.
Tonight, as the family prayed for justice, they also thanked God for precious memories.
She always brought beauty. She brought her dimples, her smile. She brought joy.
And for what she leaves behind.
I think the most important thing is that she brought me these kids to love, and we're going to keep loving them. That's how we're going to raise them.
Those kids are beautiful. The family is asking anybody who lives around this area to please check their home surveillance cameras for any clues. Erica Hernandez was last seen April 18th. Investigators say it's possible her car had been here since. Len.
Still waiting for more answers. Lauren, thank you for the update.
And since this is Houston, my instincts tell me that definitely foul play, the way things get handled in Houston. By the way, so if y'all can recall the missing tiger situation, earlier today before I went live, they were having a court hearing with the suspect, and it was very annoying hearing one of the cops testify. I'm feeling more and more, for some reason, like maybe they're involved somehow, because it's just so crazy to me that they just let him put the tiger in the vehicle after he had put the tiger in the house, and they saw him do this allegedly. Then there was a quote-unquote short chase, which I have yet to see body cam or dash cam of, and then he quote-unquote got away, and then they didn't catch up with him until he had already dumped the tiger off, to who knows where, and now he's saying like that he has no idea where the tiger is, and it's more important to focus on who's the tiger does belong to. But that was going on while I was setting up for my live, so that is something that I do want to take a look at. Maybe I'll try to come back tomorrow just to look at that. I did plan on taking this weekend off, but if I can, I will probably come back for that. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next. Oh yeah, so what I was saying is, it's just I'm kind of getting used to Houston just being, full of crime and just people getting away with murder in reality, because in the Tiger guy's situation, he was out on bond for 4 years on a murder charge. And as far as I know, there was no GPS monitor on him or anything like that. So it just feels like if you want to get away with crimes, go move to Houston, because they're gonna let you. Let's go ahead and continue. This next clip is called 1-Year-Old Dies. Mark Hernandez's charges upgraded to capital murder, and this is courtesy of KRIS 6 News. So that's probably going to be the Corpus Christi area, which is in Texas, and this was posted yesterday.
Up we start with new developments in an injury to a child investigation. A 1-year-old girl found unresponsive on Monday has died. This is exclusive video you'll only see right here on KRIS 6 News. Police have upgraded charges against Mark Anthony Hernandez to capital murder. They served a warrant to him inside the Nueces County Jail last night. He was arraigned this morning and given a bond of $1 million. Hernandez is the boyfriend of the girl's mother, as we've reported. Police say the baby was found unresponsive and not breathing at the Latitude Apartments on Weber. The family of the girl plans to have a candlelight vigil tonight at the Cole Park Amphitheater, and it's expected to start around 6.
These baby deaths are happening way too often, and I don't think people realize this because the news tends to only cover.
Again with 3 minutes.
Who told you to play? Listen, I want to apologize real quick for just kind of running through these clips real fast. It's just that I don't know how long my computer is going to allow this glitching to happen, and I really don't want to start a new live over. So that's why I'm just kind of like running through the clips quickly before, I don't know, I feel like maybe this whole thing is just going to shut down at any time. But what I was saying was that these news stations tend to only cover their area. So it's very rare when a story like this goes nationwide. But if you focus on child abuse cases like over at Queen's Throne, aka Crown Empress TV channel, you'll see for yourself just how often babies are being murdered by their parents, by their grandparents, you know, by new boyfriends. It's just getting crazier and crazier out there, and if people don't have the patience to parent, then practice, you know, safe parenting, you know, or like better proper parenting, or what did I call it, like practice, I forgot. I had a whole thing. I was even gonna try to do like a design for it or something like that, because I really do think that people just kind of don't think about what they're doing when they're bringing a life into this world. This world is crazy enough as it is, and on top of that, these violent and aggressive personalities take advantage of these tiny defenseless little babies that deserve nothing but to live their life to the fullest and reach their highest potential, and they're not able to do that because of these ghetto raggedy motherfuckers that just don't have the patience to deal with a growing baby who cries, who's gonna soil their diaper, they're gonna throw up, they're gonna make messes, they're gonna break things, they're gonna go through your stuff. If you don't understand that, then you really shouldn't be having kids, and that's just my opinion here. Black and Bougie says, I think Amari's mom did another press conference today. She did. I don't know if I added it. Did I? I want to say I thought I added it. I didn't. I think I probably put it in the next playlist for next time. But I did see that today. Black and Bougie says, a bitch here in Cincinnati wrapped her grandbaby's body up in some trash bags the other day. Did she put the baby in a freezer or in a fridge? I was gonna say, I think it's this one. We'll watch it after, and you can tell me if that's the one that you're talking about, okay, Black and Bougie? But the next clip that we're gonna watch is based on the Ahmaud Arbery case. For those of you who don't remember, he is the man that was gunned down by 3 men. Well, he himself was a melanated man that was taking a walk through the neighborhood, and he was curious about some houses that were being developed, and he was taken for a possible thief. And these 3 white men, that as far as I know they're white, I mean, I didn't do their genealogy or anything, I can't tell you where their lineage is from or whatever, but their skin color was white, that's a fact. And they chased him in a truck, and then they gunned him down, and now they are arrested and having to deal with the charges that are being put on them. This clip is based on that, and it's called Ahmaud Arbery's Accused Killers Back in Court on Motions to Introduce His Prior Arrests, and that's going to be courtesy of First Coast News, and this was posted yesterday, so let's take a look.
And charged in the killing of Ahmaud Arbery, they are back in court. It is the second day of hearings on motions filed by the defendants, Travis McMichael, Gregory McMichael, and William Roddy Bryan, ahead of their October trial. On your side's Troy Kless. He joins us live from outside the Superior Court in Brunswick. And Troy, we know today so far there's been a lot of discussion about jail calls made by the defendants.
Yeah, that's right, Katie. And some of these calls we've actually heard in previous hearings, but defense attorneys argued they should not be admitted into evidence at trial. Now, according to what we heard in court today, there are around...
If they're talking about Ahmaud Arbery's past arrests, it shouldn't be admitted to trial because those three guys didn't know about his prior arrests. Their actions were solely based on, my opinion, the color of his skin and their prejudices against that.
1,400 jail calls that were made by the defendants in this case. Now, First Coast News obtained some of those calls back in December, one of which we heard at a previous bond hearing for the men, which was made by Greg McMichael, and he was speaking with his brother about the case. Now, defense attorneys say that particular call was misinterpreted. Now, real quick, we're going to play the call that was made, and we're also going to play what defense attorneys said about that call in court earlier this morning.
You've heard the old saying, no good deed goes unpunished.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, that's it. That's a shining example right there.
Which is not what Mr. McMichael meant. He meant patrolling his neighborhood and trying to capture someone suspected of crimes in the neighborhood as the good deed, but being punished for it was then being charged with murdering him.
Yeah, but he's skipping a very important part, and that's that they actually did gun him down. And it's not even allegedly. People saw it on video. People all over the world saw it.
Now, prosecutors say that the calls should be allowed at trial because they are incriminating evidence that is relevant to the case. Now, several other motions will be heard today, and we're going to continue coverage of the story. I'll be tweeting about the proceedings here at the Glynn County Courthouse. We're live in Brunswick. Troy Kless.
Black and Bougie asked what happened to Roddy Ryan's bowl cut. He probably didn't want to be recognized in public. My guess is he probably wanted to continue going to Walmart and wherever else without anybody harassing him, because I didn't even recognize him without that bowl cut. That's just my guess. Alright, so let's go ahead. This was a really weird story. Check it out. It's called Former Providence Schools Admin Pleads Not Guilty in Foot Rub Case. And this is courtesy of WPRI. And this was posted yesterday as well. So let's wait for the StreamYard ad to pass.
Live streaming.
This noon time, we first are following some disturbing and bizarre charges against a Providence school administrator who has now resigned. 40-year-old Aliana Alege pleaded not guilty to a charge of simple assault on a teenage boy. And Kate Walsh was in the courtroom this morning. She joins us now in Warwick with that update. Kate?
Well, Danielle, less than 2 hours ago, Mr. Alege and his attorney walked out these doors at Kent County Courthouse, and my photographer and I were outside waiting for them to give them the opportunity to tell his side of the story.
Mr. Alege, do you have anything to say about this charge against you?
We have no comment at this point in time. My client pled not guilty. We're looking forward to the discovery process, and the allegations are not what they appear to be.
40-year-old Alayinka Alege out of court on personal recognizance, the promise to be on good behavior until his next court date after being charged at Kent County Courthouse with assault or battery, a misdemeanor charge.
An alleged assault that took place at the Edge Fitness Club.
Judge Elaine Bucci heard the reading of the Warwick Police report from an alleged incident on April 20th. She rejected Alege's attorney's request to waive the reading so that it wouldn't be heard in court.
Had inappropriately touched a juvenile by taking his shoe off and then proceeding to massage his foot.
Alege was arrested on Monday for allegedly forcibly giving a juvenile male a foot rub at a local gym. His interaction with kids was previously under scrutiny when he worked as an assistant principal in Tampa, Florida back in 2009. 5 students said he punished them by bringing them to a private room, removed their sock and shoe, and popped or cracked their toes. Target 12 investigative reporter Tim White asked State Education Commissioner Angelica Infante Green if she knew about that case prior to Alege being hired in Providence in 2020.
I was not aware at the time of these allegations.
Providence Public School Superintendent Harrison Peters knew Alege from Florida.
Stellar reputation. Even when I got to Providence and I called back and did a reference check, he'd got glowing recommendations, great performance evaluations.
The Providence Public School District spokesperson said Alege did resign from his position as superintendent of secondary schools in the district on Wednesday. He's due back in court for a pretrial hearing on July 9th. Live in Warwick, I'm Kate Walsh, 12.
Okay, thank you, Kate Walsh, for that disturbing update. That's fucking crazy. It's one thing to have a foot fetish, but there's adults even that you could hire for that. I'm not at all saying that that's okay either, but come on, with children, and then the whole thing about punishing kids by popping their toes, that's like really disturbing and fucked up. I remember my cousins used to do that shit to me, but not as punishment, but like, you know, like playing around or whatever. They used to like pop my toes. It was so weird. But what we're talking about here is somebody that works for a school who has access to children, and he's over here popping their toes and massaging their feet. I heard all I needed to hear. I don't really care what his stupid lawyer is saying about the allegations not appearing the way they did. And I did say that I was going to jump from one clip to the grandmother clip, and I just, with all of this that's going on with, I don't know if it's StreamYard that's messing up, so Queen, if you're still listening, watch out, because StreamYard might be acting glitchy as per usual. Or what's going on, you know, with this, but I'm a little distracted, and I do apologize for that. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead into the grandmother story. Black and Bougie still in the room. Okay, so let me know if this is the story that you were talking about. It's called Bond Raised for South Fairmont Grandmother Charged with Abuse of a Corpse, and this is courtesy of Local 12.
Mother accused of putting her granddaughter's body in a cooler appeared in court today for the first time. Our Local 12's James Pilcher joining us now live from the Breaking News Center with just what came out of that court appearance. James, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Liz. Yes, Hamilton County prosecutors have charged 42-year-old LaTonya Austin with abuse of a corpse, and she was arraigned in Hamilton County Court this morning. She was given a $25,000 bond after prosecutors asked for a very high bond number. They argued in court that the body may have also been dismembered. Now, the original complaint only said that the granddaughter's name was ZL and did not list an age of the deceased. The detective in the case said in that complaint that Austin placed the body in several trash bags before putting it into that cooler. Here's what the prosecutors said in court today.
But the fact that the state does have paints a pretty disturbing picture about what was located by the police. The fact that multiple trash bags was used indicates to the state that there may have been dismemberment involved. Based on the shocking nature of what has occurred, we'd be asking for a high bond.
Again, we don't know how the granddaughter died, and Austin is only charged with a 5th-degree felony of abuse of a corpse. That carries a penalty of up to a year in prison and or a fine of $2,500. Now, we're hoping to catch up with Hamilton County Prosecutor Joe Dieters later this afternoon to get more on this case, and I'll be back at 4 and 6 here on Local 12 with what we find out. Until then, James Pilcher, back to you, Liz.
Okay, that's disturbing. I'll definitely be looking for updates on that case. That kind of reminds me of the Freezer mom too. I think she was from Detroit. I don't know what's going on with these parents. It's like the same thing over and over again. I just want to, that's another question I had too. I was about to, I was thinking about that when I was watching the clip. Where are the child's parents? Because I'm kind of wondering too, is, you know, did the grandmother commit murder, or is she covering up for somebody else? Where are the parents in this situation? These are all questions that need to be answered. So if I find any updates, I will put them in a future playlist so we could take a look at them. Let's go ahead and continue on. This next clip is called Florida's Judge Orders Times Square Shooting Suspect Farrakhan Muhammad Held Without Bail, and this is courtesy of CBS New York, and this was a shooting that happened, I want to say last weekend. So it looks like the man made it to Florida while he was, you know, being, you know, searched for. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what this update is about. And this is posted yesterday.
Now, the man accused in the Times Square shooting that wounded 3 people, including a child, appeared in court today in Florida. Farrakhan Muhammad was arrested yesterday in a fast food parking lot near Jacksonville. CBS 2's Hazel Sanchez live in Times Square with more on this now. Hazel?
Hi there, Chris. Farrakhan Muhammad was in court alongside his girlfriend, who police say tried to help him avoid arrest. For now, Muhammad will not be extradited to New York.
Shackled in a red jumpsuit, Farrakhan Muhammad made his first appearance before a Florida judge.
Mr. Muhammad, you're one out of the state of New York for attempted murder, sir.
The judge ordered Muhammad held without bail as he consults with an attorney about his extradition options. His alleged accomplice and girlfriend, Christine Vergara from Jacksonville, was also in court. She's accused of helping Muhammad elude police. She's being held on $500,000 bond.
Based upon the nature and circumstances of the charge, as well as really a lack of ties to Bradford County, I do find you present a flight risk.
Muhammad and Vergara were on the run after police say Muhammad opened fire in Times Square Saturday afternoon. Investigators say he was trying to shoot his brother during a fight over sidewalk space where they were illegally selling CDs. But instead, the bullets hit 3 in his...
Who the fuck even I mean, I have CDs, but I mean, who's like out there looking for CDs on the street? That's pretty crazy. And the story is that he was trying to shoot his own brother over like turf space. They're both selling CDs. I don't know. That's not flying on my radar. I don't know what you all think about that.
Innocent people, a 43-year-old woman from Passaic, New Jersey, a 23-year-old tourist from Rhode Island, and a 4-year-old girl from Brooklyn. Police say Muhammad cut his hair to change his appearance and headed south with his girlfriend, making it all the way to Florida before cops caught him. U.S. Marshals were first tipped off of Muhammad's whereabouts when someone spotted him buying dog food in a Fayetteville, North Carolina Walmart. His trail leading authorities to a McDonald's parking lot in Bradford County, Florida, where he was eating lunch in a car with Vergara. He did not resist arrest.
Now, all 3 people who were shot Saturday are expected to make a full recovery, including that 4-year-old little girl who was here in Times Square with her family that day to buy new toys. This afternoon, the NYPD, a nonprofit group, and Minnie Mouse will surprise her at her Brooklyn home with a whole new stash of toys to lift her spirits. We, of course, will be there and bring you that coming up later on CBS 2 News. For now, we're live in Times Square. Hazel Sanchez, CBS 2 News.
All right, Hazel.
That's so sad. I saw a clip of the little girl too. A police officer grabbed her, held her in her arms, and ran off with her to get her to safety and get her help. And I remember the police officer said that the little girl was very calm for having been just shot. That's really alarming. And I'm not sure I buy the story that they're saying that he was attempting to shoot his brother over like CD selling turf space. So he basically shot everybody but the brother. So I'm not too sure if this is like a mass shooting situation. That they should have called it a mass shooting situation, because I'm pretty sure 3 people and above is considered mass shooting, but they're making it sound like it was kind of an accident, and I'm just not feeling that. Alright, so let's go ahead and continue. We have about 18 more clips to look at, and they're all pretty short. So I'm thinking maybe about an hour, maybe a little bit more than that, to be here. And then later on, I will see you all over at Queen's Throne, aka Crown Empress TV channel, to go see what content she has prepared for us. So this next clip is called I-Team Boyfriend Killed 2-Year-Old Amari Nicholson After Child Soiled Himself. And this is courtesy of a News Now Las Vegas. And the last time we got together, we did cover the situation, but this is a new clip that appeared, I want to say yesterday. So let's take a look at it.
And more breaking news right now. Our I-Team learning new details this noon hour in the death of 2-year-old Amari Nicholson. The I-Team's David Charnes joining us now in studio with what we know. Hi, David.
Hey there, Alex. So according to Terrell Rowe's arrest report, which the I-Team was first to get, the man caring for Amari Nicholson told police he hit the 2-year-old with his fist several times, killing him.
Police also just releasing this photo of Terrell Rhodes. This is his booking photo. The I-Team first telling you when police arrested Rhodes for Amari's murder back on Tuesday afternoon. Investigators say during an interview.
Look at his mugshot. Like, look at his eyes. Just no soul happening in there. Just a demon incarnate. And earlier we saw a clip of Taylor, which is the mom's prior boyfriend, and he said that the last time he was able to see Amari was back in November, and I was assuming that perhaps that was around the time that this new guy entered the picture. I could see if you know why he wasn't allowed to see the baby anymore if this guy came in and he probably took over the whole situation. And I'm not at all excusing the mom Taylor. I still side-eye her, but after seeing her press conference today, I want to say either she's in on it or she's completely stupid for leaving Amari with this guy if she didn't even know him for that long. From what I understand, her mom even offered to buy her and Amari plane tickets to go see her because she allegedly had been bit by a dog and her foot was not destroyed, but she required a lot of surgeries, and she wanted to see both her daughter and Amari, and for some reason Taylor decided to leave Amari home with this guy. So I'm wanting to see what her reasoning was for not taking Amari with her. A part of me feels that maybe he had already passed away by the time she took off to go see her mom, and in that case that would implicate her as well. But I guess we need to still wait and see what time of death was in Amari's situation to make that judgment. But let's go ahead and continue looking at this clip.
That same day, Rhodes told them he got upset after the toddler soiled himself, hitting his body 3 or 4 times with a closed fist. Now, this report also says Rhodes did attempt CPR, but it was just too late. He then carried Amari's body out of the Emerald Suites. This all happening early in the morning last Wednesday, May 5th, the day Amari was reported missing. Investigators finding the boy's body just nearby there yesterday. The report also saying Terrell called Amari's mother, Taylor, saying the boy had been abducted, and then Taylor called 911 twice. Now, as early as a week ago today, police write in these documents they found traces of blood on a wall in the apartment they all shared and a bag of soiled clothing in a closet. We'll have much more on all this starting this afternoon at 4 o'clock and all day inside our free app. I'm David Charnes, 8 News Now. Alex.
Okay, so that was that clip. If I find any more updates on the Amari Nicholson situation, of course I will put them in a future playlist for us to look at. That is just really sad. That was one of the most saddest child abuse cases that I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot of other evidence that some other podcasters have been able to dig up as far as text messages go. There's one that stood out to me, and that was that I want to say one of Taylor's friends or somebody that she knew was telling her, and Taylor's the mom, that they were going to have a search party, and Taylor said something like, well, where are you guys gonna have it? If it's gonna be over there by the McDonald's, then it's pointless. He's either in this town or in that town. And it just kind of feels like she was trying to distract people from actually going to find him, because that area was actually where he turned up. So there's still some things some points that are still going against her, but I still have an open mind in the situation. I just need to see more. I especially am wanting to see the time of death for Amari, so that I could decide if he had been alive or if he was already dead before Taylor went out of town. So this next clip that we're going to take a look at is an update on a story that we covered the other day as far as the Tristan Bailey case. She is was the high school cheerleader out of Florida that was missing, and then she turned up, passed away. Her cause of death was stabbing, if I can recall correctly, and the suspect is another teenager by the name of Aiden Fucci. So this is going to be an update on that case, and this was posted yesterday. It's called Community Demanding Aiden Fucci be charged as an adult in Tristan Bailey's murder case. And this is going to be courtesy of First Coast News, so let's take a look.
Now to the case of the 13-year-old cheerleader who investigators say was murdered by a 14-year-old schoolmate. Tristan Bailey, who you see right here, was stabbed to death, left in the woods on Sunday, according to the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office. That was on Mother's Day. Her friend Aiden Fucci is the suspect in this case, and while this investigation continues, a lot of people are demanding more action on the part of the state attorney's office. Jessica Clark joins us live tonight from the St. Johns County Courthouse. Jess?
Well, good evening. Aiden Fucci is indeed being treated as a juvenile in this case for the time being. He's 14 years old, but the state attorney's office here in St. Augustine is getting the message loud and clear that a lot of people want him charged as an adult. The state attorney's office phone is ringing like it rarely has for any other case. People, even teenagers, are calling, asking that 14-year-old Aiden Fucci be charged as an adult in the murder case of 13-year-old Tristan Bailey. The elected state attorney will be the one who makes the decision whether to charge Fucci as an adult. According to a First Coast News source, the office is getting 10 times more calls about this case than it does for other cases with that specific request. If Fucci is charged as an adult, he would face more severe and longer prison time. His court records would be made public, and he would likely serve time in a different prison facility. An online petition is gaining signatures by the hour. Wednesday afternoon, it had 104,000 signatures. By mid-afternoon Thursday, it had already more than 226,000 signatures. The decision to charge someone as an adult does not happen overnight. In fact, we're hearing that it could take another week or even two before we learn if a decision has been made. Live in St. Augustine, Jessica Clark, First Coast News, on your side.
Thank you, Jessica.
Okay, let me just let this decide if it's going to play or not. If I bet you it will. In that case, sorry, but I feel that he should be charged as an adult. Kids at that age already know right from wrong. They know, that murder is wrong. I don't know what's up with his parents. They're probably gonna say that they can't imagine him doing that. They're probably still, making excuses for him, because that's what I'm used to seeing in these types of cases. I haven't heard them speak out yet, but I don't expect them to. They probably all lawyered up by now. But if I find any updates on that case, I will let you all know about it. And this is going to be a new case for us to watch, to learn about. It's called The House of Horrors and Horrors. I just don't want anybody thinking that I said something else. And it is titled Man Accused of Drugging Women and Recording Rapes. And that is courtesy of WPLG Local 10. And that was posted yesterday as well. So there looks like there's going to be a skip ad to deal with, and then we'll watch the clip.
Of Coconut Creek, where police say they have arrested two men. They say one was allegedly drugging and raping women and recording it. Local 10's Leanne Morahone is live with these disturbing. Leanne.
Absolutely, Christy. And right behind me, this is the alleged House of Horrors. Idyllic, clean, well landscaped, located on a private road called Briarcliff Lane. But what the homeowner is accused of doing inside is really disturbing. Here is that homeowner. His name is Adam Johnson, 41 years old, facing multiple charges in 3 separate cases. We're talking about several drug charges: sexual battery, voyeurism, false imprisonment, and possession of a stolen weapon, just to name a few. Now, while serving a warrant, police found multiple drugs like heroin, cocaine, meth, and ecstasy. Police say that those drugs were used to take advantage of women, and that there is video from inside the home to prove it. In fact, let's take you to a quote now. This is information from police. Quote, "The investigation found that Johnson would intentionally provide narcotics strong enough to render the victims unconscious and then sexually assault them while they were incapable of defending themselves." Back out live, we can show you we can actually tell you right across the street, right over here, there's actually an elementary school. Really upsetting to think about just how close all of this alleged criminal activity was to a place where children come to learn. Of course, police do fear that there are even more victims out there than they're aware of. So if you have unfortunately been allegedly victimized by this person, you are urged to give Coconut Creek Police a call. We can also tell you, by the way, that another man does live here at this house. His name is Donnie Navarro. He was also arrested. He is only facing a possession of methamphetamine charge. For now, we're live in Coconut Creek. I'm Leanne.
That's really disturbing, and all I can really say is just, ladies, just be very careful who you allow into your home, whose home that you go into, who you're partying with. You know, you can't trust everybody, of course. People slip pills into people's drinks. If you're smoking out with somebody, you never know what they could be putting into that too. It's just a totally different world nowadays. Just nobody can be trusted in a lot of cases. Families screw each other over, friends screw each other over, spouses screw each other over. I mean, this kind of thing should not happen, but unfortunately it does. So all I can really say is just be extra careful when you're alone with somebody, because you never know. And if I find any more updates on this case, of course I will post them. Alright, so let's go ahead and continue looking at the playlist that I prepared for us. And this next clip is having to do with Amari Nicholson, and it is called "Grandmother of Slain Las Vegas Toddler Says Suspect Was Abusive." And this is courtesy of Fox 5 Las Vegas.
Carrie Howard.
And this was posted on May 12th. So let's take a look.
Carrie Howard said she's a mess and hasn't been able to eat. She currently lives in Colorado. Her daughter is Taylor Nicholson, Amari's mother. She said both Taylor and Amari were supposed to be in Colorado. She said she is not speaking to her daughter right now. The last time they spoke was on Saturday. In her words, she's upset Taylor chose to stand by her boyfriend, Terrell Rhodes, through this investigation. Howard said she's known Rhodes' family for the past 12 years. She warned her daughter not to get involved with him. Howard said she knew Rhodes was abusive to both her daughter and grandson. She said she tried to get Child Protective Services.
So then he wasn't a new guy. He was somebody that had been in their life already. I didn't know that.
To get involved.
I know he beat on my daughter, and I know he beat on the baby. You know, my family had called CPS.
If she knew, well, she's about to say that CPS got involved, and probably that they weren't very much help, as they usually are not.
Pictures of bruises, you know, and CPS never wanted to step in and even drug test either one of them. So, did I ever think he would actually murder anybody? No. But I'm not blown back by the fact that he did. Drugs, he's violent and he's on drugs, and you know, so he did it because the baby peed his pants.
Howard said she bought a one-way plane ticket for Amari and Taylor so they could stay with her at least until the end of May. Reporting from the Update.
So we still need to find out why Taylor made the decision to leave the baby at home instead of taking him with her. Let's go ahead and continue. It looks like this next clip is also about Amari Nicholson. It is called "I-Team Sources Indicate There May Have Been Warning Signs Toddler Was in Danger," and this is courtesy of 8 News Now Las Vegas.
Well, as Joe mentioned, there, Terrell Rhodes was arrested and is now charged with first-degree murder. And continuing our coverage here at 5, the I-Team's Vanessa Murphy. And Vanessa, there were concerns about his safety. Even his grandmother alluded to it, leading up to his death.
That's right, Denise. We've learned there may have been warning signs that Amari Nicholson was in danger. Sources tell me within the past year there was at least one report made to Child Protective Services alleging abuse, and the agency looked into the allegation but closed the case without taking further action. I reached out to CPS, but a spokesman says state law prohibits them from discussing specific individuals. As we first reported, now Terrell Rhodes is in jail, accused of killing the child.
Do you think if CPS had investigated more After these calls you're saying the family made, do you think Omari would be safe right now?
Yes, ma'am. He'd be just fine.
Carrie Howard is Amari Nicholson's maternal grandmother. On Monday, she told the I-Team loved ones had been concerned about the safety of the 2-year-old child since his mother started dating Terrell Rhodes last year. On Tuesday, sources told the I-Team Rhodes confessed to killing Amari.
Are you Mr. Rhodes?
The 27-year-old man appeared in court for a murder charge Wednesday.
We would note that the defendant lied for approximately 1.
Just in case you can't understand what he's saying since he's wearing a mask, it says, we would note that the defendant lied for approximately 1 week regarding covering up the murder committed against this child. So yes, dates are going to be very important as far as to when Taylor left and the from also the date that Amari passed away, the time of death, I'm sorry.
1 week regarding covering up the murder that was committed against this child.
On May 7th, Amari's mother, Taylor Nicholson, and Rhodes talked with 8 News Now's Joe Moeller. Rhodes was watching Amari while his mom was out of town. He claimed a woman calling herself an aunt showed up to take the child.
And as I'm finna call my girlfriend and pack his bag at the same time, she says that they already got everything that they need for him. Then she proceeded out the door.
But Metro Police say Rhodes later admitted to hitting Amari numerous times, which caused his death on May 5th, 2 days before that interview, and then hid the child's body. According to the Clark County District Attorney's Office, evidence includes blood on a wall and soiled child's clothing. Detectives say they knew Rhodes was their primary suspect, while Rhodes continued to give his version to 8 News Now.
What's really sickening is that people is making assumptions, thinking that I have something to do with it,
Wow, he's got a lot of nerve. Look at this stupid face.
I have her manipulated in some way, which that's sickening to me also, because he loves us. I mean, we had never done nothing like that to him.
No?
Police say Rhodes fought with officers and grabbed an officer's gun when they went to arrest him. He will...
You know, that would have been a really good time for police brutality. I would not even have blinked an eye. He actually took a gun from a police officer. How is he not without, like, any injuries from the arrest? I mean, we all remember Markeith Lloyd, how he ended up. I guess you gotta gun down a police officer for them to, like, go that far or whatever. In that case, it's not even true. I don't know what it is that they decided to show restraint after he was able to take a gun from a police officer. They just had all the patience in the world for him.
Likely face charges in connection with that incident. The I-Team has learned Rhodes was released from prison last year for robbery and burglary convictions. Brian, back to you.
Okay, Vanessa, thank you.
All right. Let's go ahead and continue. We have about 13 clips left of this playlist, and then we will finish up for the day. This next clip is called Woman Posed as High School Student for Instagram Followers, and this is courtesy of Inside Edition, and this was posted yesterday. 1 second while this ad plays. Hi, Concealed Ringleader. Thank you. Much love. I hope you're having a good day at work. I will see you soon at Queens Live. Let's go ahead and play.
A 28-year-old woman is accused of posing as a teenager to get into a Florida high school in an effort to raise her social media profile.
It says in here, she's trying to get people to follow her on Instagram.
Audrey Francesquini is accused of trespassing, interference with an educational institution, and resisting an officer without violence. Prosecutors say she walked into American Senior High School in Hialeah with a group of students wearing a backpack and carrying a skateboard. Once inside, they allege she handed out flyers to students promoting her Instagram account. The case seemed to baffle the judge.
First of all, I don't know how you get into the school. They have a guard at the front. You got to show your ID.
But reports say the proof is in her profile, which is now private, as Francesquini allegedly posted a video of herself inside the building wearing a mask.
She was like, I think, recording some stuff in there,
like some crazy stuff, and she had like the devil's mask and everything. It's crazy. It's creepy.
I legit have I don't know how many cops outside right now of my house.
Reports also say she posted video to social media of the moment police tracked her down at home. A judge set bond at $2,000, and Francisquini was ordered to stay away from the school, which she promised to do.
Thank you, Your Honor. Whatever, Your Honor, whatever you say, I will respect you. Thank you.
Ma'am, your lawyer wants to speak to you.
Yes, sir.
Take the card to your attorney. Also, if someone shoved the camera in your face, let's not talk about this at all.
For Inside Edition Digital, I'm Mara.
I don't know if I trust that she was there to gain Instagram followers. If that's the case, there's other things she could have done. She could have gone to a college where there's adults around. She could have posted flyers. They have message boards for that. I don't see why she had to. You're stressed out, concealed. I'm sorry. Well, I hope it gets easier. Hope your day gets better. But what I was saying in this lady's case is she targeted kids, and then her Instagram said something about protect the kids. It's just feeling very like she was trying to lure kids in. I'm kind of wondering what her intentions were there after that. So I really feel like they should investigate her more. I'm not buying that she went onto a high school to get Instagram followers. Why does she want children to be advocating for children? It just doesn't make sense to me. It sounds to me like she was trying to get people to talk to, get to know, maybe. It's just highly inappropriate. But we'll see how that goes. If I find any future updates, I will post them here. Let's go ahead and continue on. This next clip is called Baby Swans Reunite with Family After Being Taken, and this is courtesy of Inside Edition.
Police say you are witnessing a swan napping as it happens. The guy can be seen taking 2 baby swans. Watch as he puts the babies in a red cooler, and the mama and papa swan go nuts trying to save them. The man pushes them out of the way with the cooler. Bystanders yell at him to stop. He even swats the swans, who won't give up. Pierre Arsenic saw it all unfold.
I thought he was going to steal the swans and sell them. There was no doubt in my mind.
They won't be here tomorrow. The suspect claims he's rescuing the birds from predators.
They will be dead tomorrow.
Police in Orlando tracked down the man and charged 71-year-old Richard Harger with third-degree grand theft. The little guys have been reunited with their parents.
This is what you call.
Oh my God. You could tell the devastation in the... Danielle Williams is laughing. I'm mortified over here. That looked terrible. I mean, that equates, taking a baby from somebody's arms. You know what I mean? That's I can just imagine those poor swans. I'm glad that they got reunited. However, from what I heard, sometimes animal parents won't accept their babies after they've been touched by a human. I hope that's not true in this case. His story is that he was protecting the baby swans from somebody worse coming along. I don't see that. I feel if I were to ever, I'm trying to put myself in his shoes for some reason, but if I were to ever do that, I would have taken the whole family with me so they could still be together, and I would protect all of them. But he was not interested in doing that. He just wanted the babies. So I could see why people got upset, but at the same time, I don't feel they got upset enough. If I had been there, I probably would have been screaming right in his ear. Not violating his personal space, of course, but hey Terrence Bain, how's everyone? I'm doing okay. I've had a real weird week, but we'll talk about that later. I'm actually planning on doing more of a chat live, maybe on the weekend. I was going to try to take the weekend off, but I'm also considering just coming in and just talking, just checking up on everyone, just give updates on what's going on with me, the channel, that kind of thing. I didn't want to do that while I was doing a live about news updates, but I will try to come back this weekend. So I hope to see you here. I hope to see all of you here so that we could all chat, and maybe some people can hit the panel and we can have a conversation, because I really enjoyed my chat with Preach the other day, and also when Black and Bougie comes up and we just start talking about all kinds of true crime stories. Queen's Drone, of course, you're always welcome to jump up and talk with me and chat, and we can talk about whatever you want. I'll probably do that this weekend if I can. But I don't know. I was saying something about the swans. Let's see. Emmanuel Briggs said Mama and Papa Swan wasn't having it. They weren't. That looked so stressful to me. They knew what was going on, and that was just kind of painful to watch. Although Danielle Williams was cracking up over there. Salute. So this next clip that we're gonna watch, and we're down to 11 clips on this playlist, is called "Is It Safe to Inject Lip Fillers by Yourself?" I'm gonna say no, and this is courtesy of Inside Edition. So let's see what happened here.
I'm a TurboTax Live expert, ready to assess even the most.
And that's gonna be after this ad. 1 second.
Since you're playing.
It's do-it-yourself cosmetic procedures. People are going online to show how they freshen up their face with Botox or plump up their lips with fillers. But should they?
I didn't feel like my lips were big enough.
So Renee Strauss bought something called a Hyapen to inject fillers into her lips. She even made a TikTok video showing how she did it.
I would strongly discourage people from doing this yourself at home.
Renee's video caught the attention of board-certified dermatologist Dr. Whitney Bowe, who made her own TikTok video about Renee.
Please don't do what I think you're going to do.
And her lips look beautiful today. Maybe she'll get a staph infection tomorrow.
I wanted to call attention to the fact that there are significant risks associated with what she was doing in that video.
Obviously, she has very strong opinions as a doctor, as she should. You're taking a risk. I am one of the kinds of people that does that regularly.
Complications of self-injections can be serious. Board-certified dermatologist Dr. Christine Lee showed me patients she treated to correct bad results. This patient had an eye droop after injecting Botox, and these patients had scarring around the cheek and mouth from fillers.
Is it dangerous for women to be self-injecting Botox and fillers?
It's very dangerous for women to be injecting themselves. If somebody actually injected into the wrong nerves, they could get paralysis of the face.
I want you just to push it in to the tissue as it's going gently.
But not all doctors are worried. Dr. Stanley Kovac, who runs Mirror Care outside Chicago, says it's okay to self-inject with proper medical supervision.
Push it in.
He says he's breaking barriers by providing telehealth for those wanting to do it.
That's not for me. I could never risk it, especially after seeing those other pictures. They're better off before they even did that. Just get it done by a professional. Even going to like other countries to do it cheap, it's just not even worth it. I've heard of people pass away because of things like this. It's just not worth it. In fact, sometimes makeup, just doing a clever makeup technique can make certain things look certain ways. You don't have to do all of this. It's just way too much.
Perfect. That's the right amount.
He even invited us to watch as he instructed a patient how to inject herself with Botox.
Yeah, you did a good job. Okay, how did it feel?
Not bad at all. Very easy.
According to medical and legal experts, they have said what you're doing is, quote, dangerous, crazy, obscene, completely unethical, and shady as hell.
I believe that, one, they're not as informed as what we're doing. I think if they were a little bit more informed, they would see that it isn't shady as hell or obscene or what all.
Unethical.
Unethical, exactly right.
You have to admit that it's safer to do this in a doctor's office under medical care.
I will not admit that. It is not safer to do it in a doctor's office than it is to do it via telehealth with a doctor guiding you who knows properly how to do it.
What you just told me is that it's not safer for a patient to go to a doctor than for a patient to do it themselves.
Not if the doctor is guiding them.
Many in the medical community totally disagree.
When it comes to injecting foreign substances into your skin, which could have potential complications including infection, scar, and blindness, I would think twice.
Yeah, no, that's not for me. All right, let's go ahead and continue. This next clip is a update on the Maya Miliete case, and this is a case that we saw the other day. She is a missing woman out of San Diego, and so far it looks like her husband Larry is the most likely suspect. However, as far as I know, he has not been arrested or even questioned at this time, so let's see what this update is. It is called What We Saw Inside the Search of Maya Miliete's House, and this is courtesy of CBS 8 San Diego.
Gatorade Zero, all the electrolytes.
Okay, and that's going to be after this ad. 1 second. After the second ad. Okay.
Good evening. I'm Marcella Lee, and for Barbara Lee Edwards.
I'm Carlo Cicchetto. We're learning more about the police search of Maya Miliete's home last week in Chula Vista.
The mother of 3 has been missing for more than 4 months. News 8's David Gottfredson takes a closer look at video of crime scene investigators inside the family home.
Chula Vista police spent 7 hours inside the home of Larry and Maya Miliete last week when they served a second search warrant on the home, seizing what appeared to be long guns and boxes of ammunition. Inside the garage, you can see Maya's black Jeep on the left and the husband's black Toyota truck on the right. Later that night, we spotted investigators in the garage setting up a tripod for a 3D crime scene scanner. News 8 video shows the same 3D scanner tripod being set up in the master bedroom. A 3D scanner uses both a laser and a camera to create a 3D computer layout of the crime scene, which can help investigators take precise measurements. A Colorado crime lab worker explains in this 2015 video posted on YouTube.
What the scanner does is that it emits an IR laser from this side of the scanner. That laser hits this spinning mirror. That laser will spin on that axis, but it will also spin on this axis. The laser can then map everything that it sees and essentially show the entire scene in 3D.
The 3D animations can also be used to map out the path a bullet may have traveled.
If I have a bullet defect that goes through a wall, what I can do is I can place that rod into that bullet defect. The software looks for the exact center of where those spheres are, which is right on the axis of that trajectory rod, and map that trajectory digitally all the way back to where the shot may have came from.
Last week's search warrant was served 4 months to the day after Maya Miliete went missing. Even so, trace evidence could still be lingering inside the home. The neighbor who snapped this photo told News 8 it looked like investigators were using a black light to search for blood. Here's what a San Diego County crime lab worker told us in 2001 about tracking down blood evidence inside a home.
They end up cleaning up the big stuff. You know, they'll clean up the pool of blood, they'll clean up the carpet, they'll turn a mattress over to hide something, but what they miss are the smaller spots, and that's what we look for.
Chula Vista police have not said what they were looking for, and they have not confirmed what they took from the house last week during that search warrant. They also will not say whether they consider Larry Millette a suspect in his wife's disappearance. Carlo?
David, was Larry Miliete inside the house when they served that search warrant?
It doesn't look like he was in the house. In the helicopter footage, you can see the 3 kids in the backyard. You can see the grandparents in the backyard. Also, we did not see a black Toyota van with blacked out windows that Larry has been driving, and that vehicle was not around the house for 7 hours while they were serving that search warrant last
Can't
week.
imagine the additional trauma to those children who've already lost their mothers. Terrible stuff. David Gottfredson reporting live. Thanks, David.
My opinion on that case, I feel that Larry did commit murder and killed Maya Miliete. I just don't believe it to be a coincidence that she went missing the day she went to an attorney's office to start filing for divorce. Those crazy text messages about Bible verses and submitting to your significant other, that kind of thing, that was all weird to me, including the picture of the the witchcraft altar with like red all over it. To me, that's enough for me to decide that I believe that he did it, although I know in court that's all going to be considered circumstantial. So I really hope that, you know, somebody is able to say something, or that the police are able to find hard evidence in their investigation so that he could be charged and then put through due process. I do have another clip having to do with the Maya Milieta case, so let's go ahead and take a look at it. It's called Cold Case Experts Meet with CVPD in Maya Milieta Case, and that's going to be courtesy of ABC 10 News, and this was posted today.
As the search for Maya Milieta continues, cold case experts have now had their second meeting with Chula Vista Police. The family of the missing mother has been calling for answers and more communication from the police department.
As our ABC 10 News reporter Laura Acevedo explains, the victim advocate assigned to work with the family knows from experience that investigations take time.
Experts from the Cold Case Foundation met with Chula Vista Police Wednesday about Maya Miliete's case. The foundation partnering with the department looking for any ways they can help in the investigation.
And then we bring the experts and then we talk about, discuss how they're going to carry out that function with them.
Josephine Wenzel is the liaison between the family and law enforcement.
I am an advocate for the families.
Although Wenzel isn't able to discuss details about the meeting, her job is to report back to the family without sharing information that might jeopardize the case.
We bring the experts to the police and say, what are you lacking? What can we assist with?
Wenzel says she knows what the family is feeling. Her daughter, Crystal Mitchell, was murdered in San Diego in 2016. The accused killer hasn't been found. Although no one knows what happened to Maya, Wenzel says she understands that frustration.
Grief has a funny way of, making you go down different rabbit holes or be, suspicious or to feel upset.
After the meeting, Wenzel says she emails Maya's family with what she can share and communicates any questions the family might have for police.
My work is not to, hang out with them, but my work is to make sure that their questions are answered as best possible.
Asking for the public to have patience, explaining that these investigations do take time.
We want Maya found. We want justice. We want whoever is responsible for her disappearance to be caught.
In Chula Vista, Laura Acevedo, ABC 10 News.
Okay, that was that. Stop it. Alright, so let's go ahead and continue on. This clip is from earlier today as well, although I did see this on Instagram yesterday, but I found it today on The Guardian. It's called Cat Jumps from 5th Floor of Burning Chicago Building and Survives Unharmed. This is courtesy of Guardian News, and again, this was posted today, so let's take a look. So here's the kitty cat. He's up on the second to last floor up here, and it is on fire, and he's about to start jumping out, and he landed and bounced off the floor. I'm really glad, let me lower this, but I'm really glad that he didn't hit this wall, because that could have been really bad. So that was interesting to see. Alright, let's go ahead and continue on. We have 7 more clips to watch before we call it a day. This next clip is called Backseat Tesla Driver Unapologetic After Arrest, and this is going to be courtesy of NBC Bay Area. This is really shocking and disturbing, and I will be honest, I have a phobia when it comes to like being in a car, especially driving. I for some reason, I don't know what kind of trauma I went through, or if it's maybe some phobia from a past life, I can't explain it, but like being on the road, sometimes even walking on the street is just like very scary to me, and maybe that's why I attract all these bad things happening every time I walk out of the house. But seeing this was very, very disturbing and enraging to me. So you tell me what you all think. And this, I don't know if I said what it was courtesy of, but it is NBC Bay Area, and this was posted earlier today, so let's take a look.
New at 11, have you heard about this guy or have you even seen him? Says it's a magical experience and he's going to keep doing it. We hear from the Tesla driver who chooses actually not to drive at all. Instead, he puts the car in autopilot, and there you see him. He sits in the back seat. To be very clear, this is very illegal. And if you see him on the road in the back seat, the CHP says give him a call. So what's his side of the story? Here's NBC Bay Area Sergio Quintana.
This 6-second clip of 25-year-old Param Sharma, shot on a freeway in Oakland last weekend, seems to have caught the attention of the California Highway Patrol. We're slowing down the video so you can see there's no driver behind the wheel, and Sharma is gleefully staring out the back window. Sharma is unapologetic for his behavior.
That's actually very normal for me to sit in the back like that.
A couple days later, someone else spotted him on the Bay Bridge heading to Oakland. They called the CHP.
Thanks to the public for all those law-abiding citizens who called in 911. One of our motor officers happened to be just at the exact location at the exact time, and we were able to remove the subject off the roadways.
According to the California Highway Patrol, that motor officer actually watched as Sharma crawled from the back seat into the front seat to bring the Tesla to a stop. He was arrested for 2 counts of reckless driving and disobeying a peace officer. But almost as soon as he was released, Sharma took to his Instagram page and uploaded video that shows a driverless Tesla on the Embarcadero in San Francisco. Once again, he's in the back seat.
I just got out of jail. I already got a Tesla. People can't understand me.
Sharma tells me he's not worried about losing his license. He figures driverless car technology will be here.
Does he worry about losing his life? Does he worry about killing somebody else with this? Because I've seen fatal car crashes due to this type of behavior. This is completely unacceptable and very enraging to me.
Soon enough to shuttle him around where he needs to go. For now, he plans to keep doing what he's doing. Are you concerned at all about, going to jail if you keep doing this?
I mean, I don't think you can go to jail, man. Like, it's not really that serious because I'm not breaking, any laws. Like, I'm not dangerously operating the car.
Actually, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is investigating 23 crashes where drivers may have been using autopilot. And to be clear, it's illegal in California for a driver not to be sitting behind the wheel while a car is operating. And according to attorney Stephen Clark, if Sharma continues thumbing his nose at authorities, the district attorney could ask that he be held in jail till his trial. Why are you doing it?
Because when I sit in the back seat, it's like a magical experience, man. Like, to just see self-driving cars finally work.
In San Francisco, Sergio Quintana, NBC Bay Area News.
I don't know, that's fucking crazy. I would never do it, and if I knew anybody that did do that, I would just smack him right across the head and call him a dummy, because that's insane. Car accidents do happen like that. All right, let's go ahead. Shit crazy? It sure is, Shady. It sure is. When will it end? All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the next clip. We have 6 to go before we call it a day. This next clip is called Hip Hop Producer. I've never heard of him. His name is Jamal Rashid, known as Molly Mall, is sentenced to prison. Let's see what about. And this is courtesy of KTNV, Channel 13, Las Vegas. And this was posted today, actually. So let's take a look.
Well, welcome back. A hip-hop producer is going to prison for operating a prostitution business here in Las Vegas. So the FBI says that Jamal Rashid, or Molly Mall as he is known, owned several escort businesses between 2002 and 2014. Well, all, according to law enforcement, were fronts for prostitution. Detectives say that Rashid had hundreds of victims and many were transported across the country. Rashid, according to law enforcement, admitted to manipulating and threatening his victims. Some even got tattoos of him to show their loyalty. Rashid will spend nearly 3 years behind bars.
Okay, so yeah, that's fucked up, and they're not tattoos. He was basically branding women and then selling their bodies. Kind of reminds me of that cult too, the Nexium cult too, where they were branding him. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the next clip, and this is called 33-year-old cold case in St. Lucie County solved, and this is courtesy of WPTV News, FL, Palm Beaches, and so on.
33 years ago today, investigators in St. Lucie County came upon a badly decomposed body in a citrus grove.
It was ruled a homicide, and for 3 decades, no one had been arrested.
Tonight, that cold case has been closed. WPTV News Channel 5's John Shainman has more on what got detectives across the finish line and why the ending was bittersweet.
Out on Route 70, way west of town, it looks about the same as it did here in 1988. That's when a man mowing a citrus grove came upon a body.
Advanced stages of decomposition.
Detectives thought they knew who it was, 25-year-old Rocky Taylor, and had an idea who might be responsible. But investigators couldn't positively identify Taylor at the time.
He had no identification on him. They actually met up with friends of his, asked if they could identify the type of clothing that he usually wore.
Through online sleuthing, Detective Paul Taylor last year tracked down 2 brothers who agreed to submit to DNA testing. The samples were sent to a Texas lab in early 2020.
Unfortunately, at that point in time, COVID hit, and their lab shut down.
A few weeks ago, the lab reached out, and the pieces fell into place.
Once they ran those 2 DNA profiles, it came up that he was positively identified as Rocky Lane Taylor.
But the main suspect, a former boyfriend of Rocky Taylor, died of cancer in 2015.
I would have loved to have made an arrest on this. I think we had the evidence to convict this guy. Just a matter of, time wasn't on my side on this one.
Detective Taylor has essentially been a one-man cold case unit, but recently a second person has come on board to volunteer their time.
And so far what I've done in the last probably month and a half to 2 months is just read.
State Attorney Bruce Colton retired this year after 35 years in the office. As someone with a hand in convicting some of the Treasure Coast's most notorious killers, Colton has a history with some of these cold cases.
One of the things that I found interesting is that even way back in the 70s and early 80s, they were doing pretty complete investigations.
Colton says Detective Taylor's work on the Rocky Taylor case was impressive.
He's done a great job putting these together. I think that says volumes as to why he's been able to now have 2 of them that he's cleared.
Detective Taylor found the victims' remains were still in a lab in Gainesville, so he coordinated it so the family could collect them. Rocky Taylor's surviving siblings held a memorial service today.
33 years to the day, they're having a celebration of life in Alabama.
John Shainman, WPTV, News Channel 5.
It's good to see these cold cases being solved, but it's also sad, and so I can see where they're saying that it was a bittersweet ending because there was really no justice served in this case. Somebody did lose their loved one, and nobody, paid the price for it. But at least now they know what happened and hopefully can start moving towards closure, because closure doesn't happen right away. It's a process, and hopefully they can all get through that at least together. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at the last 4 clips that we have, and this next one is called We Don't Know. HPD said they have received more than 200 calls on missing tiger, so they still can't find the tiger. The guy is still not saying what happened. For those of you that weren't here, sometime earlier, I want to say this week, or maybe it started since last weekend. A tiger was roaming around a neighborhood in Houston, and the quote-unquote owner retrieved him, although he's now denying that he was an owner, and put him back inside the house. And soon after that, he grabbed the tiger, put him or her, I still don't know if it's a female or a male, put her in the Jeep that he drove away in, and then after an alleged short chase, he got away, and the police didn't catch up to him until after he did who knows what with the tiger. They still can't find it, and they're wanting to retrieve it so that they could find an appropriate home for him, like an animal sanctuary. He's not talking. He won't say whose tiger it is. Allegedly it's not his. So this is an update on that. So let's take a look. And that's going to be after this ad, so 1 second please.
With Zillow and Zillow Home Loans, you can buy.
One more ad. Okay, here we go.
Commander Ron Borza, Houston Police Department, Major Offenders Division.
You want us to just fire questions then?
Sure.
Okay, let's talk about the tiger. What's
Okay.
the latest? Where is it?
The latest, we do not know. My animal cruelty unit, I have 1 sergeant, 5 officers. We've literally filled probably 200-300 phone calls, and I'm also working with Bark. They've probably got the same amount or more phone calls than we have. We've gone to a few locations here in Houston, and we have not had any luck finding the tiger yet.
Is the guy completely uncooperative in terms of trying to track it down?
So far he is. He and his lawyer are uncooperative right now. He is in a bond hearing this morning in Fort Bend County to revoke his murder bond. So I'm hoping that that occurs, and maybe if he goes to jail, he'd be more cooperative with us. We'll see how that goes.
I'm sorry to interrupt, sir, but does the DA and do not police and multiple agencies not have some degree of leverage upon him to find the tiger, given all of his legal troubles?
We were hoping that was happen, but it hasn't happened yet. But we're still going to work on that.
Can I ask you just one thought? Because everybody is just going crazy with this tiger thing, you know that.
Yes, sir.
So what are the nature of the tips you're getting? Are you getting geographical locations? Are you getting, I just saw something crazy out here? What do the tips look like that come in?
They're a little bit crazy. A lot of sightings that haven't panned out for us. And we've, like I said, we know the group of people that are involved in the exotic animal trade here in Houston. We deal with them all the time. My animal cruelty unit does. We visited all of them, and no luck so far.
Do you have, and I swear I'll stop asking questions about the tiger, but do you have any inkling, I mean, being a veteran law enforcement member, do you have any gut feeling of where this thing may be? I mean, is it out in the wild? Has it been ferried off to somewhere exotic? What are your thoughts?
No, I believe since Monday that tiger's probably been passed around 6, 7, 8 times to different locations here in Houston. I don't think it's out of Houston yet. Maybe out of the county, but I don't think so. I think it's still here in Houston.
I got a question. So like any of these tips, have they led to other animals? Maybe like...
No, we haven't found any other animals. Not yet.
Do we know how, and forgive me, this is my last question, but do we know how this guy came to have this tiger?
We do not. I believe he bought it from a female here in Houston that we've dealt with before with exotic animals, but I'm not sure. I don't know if he was just looking after the tiger or actually purchased it, because a lot of times when we're going after people dealing in exotic animals, they start passing the animal from house to house with people that are involved in this trade.
Do people think maybe like this tiger's tame or something, they can go up to it? Obviously not.
I would have to say it is. I mean, most likely this tiger's been raised since it was a cub. The officer that dealt with it the other day on Ivy Wall, he could tell it was tame, and I think that's one of the reasons why he didn't shoot it at that time, because he certainly could have. I'm glad he didn't, but I'm pretty sure that tiger's going to be calm around other individuals.
But a tiger's a tiger.
Tiger's a tiger, and I imagine it's going through a lot of stress this week too, with all the moving that I'm assuming it's going through, which isn't good.
And Commander, where should people call for tips, either the major offenders or 911? What should
they can do either. They can call Crime Stoppers, major offenders, Bark. Bark's fielding a lot of phone calls, and or 911, either or. But we are reacting to every tip we get. We'd like to find this tiger and get him in good hands.
Thank you, Commander.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it, guys.
So there was a court hearing today related to this situation, and that was happening while I was preparing to go live, so I will grab that as soon as I'm done here and put it in the playlist for next time. So let's go ahead and watch another clip having to do with the tiger, since we're already on that and we're on our last 3 clips for today. Everybody please come over to Queen's Throne, aka Crown Empress's TV live stream later today, and join in on the conversation, and we can check out what videos and commentary she has prepared for us later on, so we can keep it going. Alright, so let's go ahead and watch this next clip. It's called Polar Bear Takes an Ice Bath. So this is going to be a really cute clip. And I'm also going to mute the music, because I've been noticing that I've been getting like not copyright like striked, but more like claimed over like some of the background music on some of these clips. So let me just see if this is one of those situations. Alright, let me make it big. Yeah, see that music as well. So we know it's like some kind of clown music, and this is Portland, Oregon, from what it said. And look at this polar bear. He's so cute. He's having an ice bath. That is literally the cutest thing ever. Oh, he's so big. Or she. Maybe it's a she. Oh, she gave us kisses. Alright. that was that. It should have been longer. They could have totally extended that to like an hour, and I would have watched every minute of it. And just, I don't know if you all watch South Park, but do you all remember that episode where they were doing cough syrup and watching cute animal videos with like hats, like that? Oh my gosh, I wanted to see that first. Hey Rifa, how are you? Thank you so much for being here. I hope you're subscribed to Queen's Throne, aka Crown Empress TV. If you need the links, I'll go ahead and drop them in the chat. Just let me know, because sometime after I'm done here, we're gonna head over to her live, and that way we can still hang out and talk and stuff like that. So this next clip is called Tiger King star Carol Baskin is offering $5,000 reward to find missing Houston tiger. I hope not for her to keep. And that's going to be courtesy of KHOU 11. So let's take a look. Let me go ahead and make that big, unmute. Okay.
Victor Cuevas is out of confinement, but it's still a mystery whether the tiger he was seen pulling into his West Houston rental home is too.
Please call me, and again, we're going to do everything we can do to try to find this cat.
A Houston police spokesperson told me they're, quote, still waiting for a phone call on its location. BARC animal control officers are helping with the investigation.
We have plenty of places we can take that tiger and keep it safe and give it a home for the rest of his life.
One option is the Cleveland Amory Black Beauty Ranch in East Texas. Senior Director Noelle Almerid said she's had brief conversations with police.
We've had brief interactions, and I've just let them know that we do have space available if the need should arise.
4 tigers live there now. That includes Loki, the tiger rescued from a vacant southeast Houston home 2 years ago.
Loki's doing great. He has developed into a confident, playful tiger.
Almerid says India the tiger would probably...
There you go, Rifa. Go ahead and sub to these channels. These are Queen's channels. Sometimes she goes live on like 1 or 2 of them or all 3. I'm not sure what's going to happen today. I just want to make sure that you're able to find us. So go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell to all, so that way you don't miss her live, okay?
Try to hide to feel protected if he is still out on the streets, but she doubts that's the case.
I'm imagining that he's still indoors. Hopefully they are feeding him a proper diet. But ideally, to be healthy and happy, a tiger needs a lot of space to roam. They should not be kept indoors 24/7.
Okay, and it went silent there, and the video finishes. Alright, so we have one more video to go, and then we're going to call it a day, everyone. This last one is called Good Dog Helps Carry Bed and Bad Dog Destroys the House. So let's check it out.
Thank you for helping, Marty.
Marty the Golden Retriever can't wait for her new bed. She even helps carry it in.
Okay, you got your end, I got my end.
Phew, she can't wait to take a nap.
Okay. Good girl, thank you.
From Good Dog to Naughty Dog.
What
did you do?
Look at this door.
What did you do?
He there's no way he bit through that. He must have tried to gore it, ram through this door. I think this leased outside. This is crazy.
Ew.
Nothing. That is an atomic dog.
This woman returned home from work to see her couch
Look at her couch. That is gone.
destroyed.
This is interesting.
The culprit? Her 2-year-old pooch named Bo.
What did you do?
Nothing. My new toy. Look.
Someone is in the doghouse.
Oh.
What did you do?
Well, someone maybe should find him a dog sitter or somebody to hang out with all day. Obviously, he gets bored. But who knows? My dogs don't give me issues like that. I could leave them, and they won't do anything like that. But I know that they get bored, so that's why it's very important to keep them entertained and make sure that they're loved and everything. I'm sure the pit bull is loved. He looks very taken care of. I'm not too sure what happened there, how long he was left alone for him to have all that time to have done that. As a dog owner, you get to know your dogs and you love them anyways, and you know what they get up to and things like that. But that's gonna be a wrap for this live stream. Thank you everybody for being patient with me. I did have some issues earlier I'm gonna go ahead and restart my computer and try to find out what's going on. Hopefully it doesn't keep happening. And I will see you all in a little bit over at Crown Empress TV, Queen's Throne. At this point, you can put either Queen's Throne or Crown Empress in the search box, and it should lead you to her channel, hopefully. And if not, then it will soon. So thank you very much, everyone. All of your likes and subs and everything are appreciated, and so are donations. So thank you very much, and I will see you all soon. Bye. Bye, Manuel.